Broadcasting to you live from the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, no longer California, Los Angeles to be pseudo-specific. My name is BrianEngelman, and today is Friday, September 12th, 2025, and you're watching the TNAM Daily Show. What does TNAM stand for? It stands for The New American Media, because the old American media has failed you. That's how this works. That's why you're here. We call ourselves the trash pandas, the raccoons. Oh my gosh, can you believe they're nicknaming themselves after a racial slur? Huh? What? No. See, not everything needs to be a microaggression and people need to be canceled for it. And it's that brain rot energy that has led to people justifying what happened to Charlie Kirk. Well, he said this thing and, there's consequences if you're going to say things. It's all over the place. And it is a remnant of the Obama doctrine to push the radicalization of a generation. But you know what? The pushback, the blowback against that has been massive. Have you heard of the Fire a Fascist movement? You let employers know how these people act, the ones celebrating and justifying the political assassination of Charlie Kirk. One of the goriest things you'll ever watch. Something that will forever traumatize every one of us that lived through it, watched it. Oh, by the way, he left behind a wife and 2 daughters who were there when it happened, mind you. No, this constant looking under stones for every microaggression is done. This allowing cancel culture from the left to ruin normal Americans' lives is done. Sitting on the sidelines is done. Being a moderate is done. Fence sitting is done. It's this has radicalized a generation to radically defend America from the people who are trying to kill us. That's what that means. Radicalized against the death cult that says, if you don't say exactly what I want you to say, I have the right to snuff you out from existence. Funny how those same people point their finger and call other people fascist. It's been the biggest magic trick, the biggest deception foisted upon us in the past 20 years, since 9/11 in American history. I don't know exactly where you fit this deception, this brainwashing, this malignant tumor that has infected academia, MSNBC and CNN, the Democrat politicians. Oh, I can't believe you're going to say that. I can't believe you're going to say that. It's because of the right. It's because of the right. You hear how you hear it's Trump. And this is the debate we find ourselves in. By the way, back to what I was saying before that annoying lady, the voice, the lady on your shoulder, you have like the angel and the demon. And this is a battle of good and evil. This is about demonic influence. I was saying we're the trash pandas. That means raccoon, but we're the TNAM trash pandas, rifling through the rubbish, separating fake news from fact. So somebody has been arrested today. President Trump once again broke the news. He broke the news that Charlie Kirk had expired due to the political assassination. President Trump broke the news on Fox that there was a suspect in custody with a how did he phrase it exactly? With a large degree of certainty that they have the right guy. They said, well, we're still trying to find out, but it's a large degree of certainty that we have the guy. And the story is that the father turned him in. I think it was that the pastor contacted the father, and then the father confronted the kid and said, you're turning yourself in, and we're going to do this. So there's a lot that we have to unpack. The internet sleuths have been working diligently trying to find who this person is. You saw, this person made a song called Charlie Kirk's Gone in 30 and 20. What am I saying? Gone at 31 or something like that. It's that guy. Oh, look, it's like this guy that looks kind of similar that was debating him in person. And it turns out we do have a guy, we do have his name, and we'll tell you about it because this is a turning point for America. This week, raise your hand if you've had any trouble sleeping this week. Put it in the comments. Question of the day, QOTD. Have you had any difficulty sleeping this week? You know, I was famously someone who was able to fall asleep in an MRI machine with Metallica playing very loudly in my earbuds or my headphones. A hotel lobby, a diner. If I'm tired enough, I will take a nap. Different from like narcolepsy or some sort of thing. Very far different, but under certain circumstances, I can take a nap. And knock on wood, thankfully, I'm traditionally able to sleep. But I had the toughest time, I believe, this week trying to sleep the night before the Iryna Zarutska story. I didn't want to cover the topic. I hate covering the two areas I really just dislike getting into the weeds and rolling up the sleeves and unclogging the toilet and trying to figure out. I hate talking about race relations. Black and white, I really just dislike it. I was taught, maybe my school district was different, but a lot of it was just kind of like, you know, there's this dude in the 60s and there's a lot of strife, and his name was MLK, and he said, you should judge a person by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. And then cut to watching Barack Obama weaponize everything. If it wasn't Juicy Smollier, or if it wasn't Bubba Wallace, if it wasn't Colin Kaepernick, if it wasn't, you know, if I had a son, he'd look a lot like Trayvon. And it's been an all-out assault from his camp to radicalize teachers, media, government. And to call everybody else Nazis or fascists, or, you know, that's the classic Andrew Breitbart. That's the classic Andrew Breitbart quote. I have a lot of sentences that just get hung up. It's almost like all the train cars end up, blah, 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 it just gets all jumbled, and you got to slow down and like stretch them back. Like they all kind of went off the track, and you got to kind of back up and put them all back on. Okay. He says something along the lines of, you want to call us Nazis and constantly come after us like that? War. That is an act of war. And you know what? It's just, we just buzzed right past 9/11. You know, let's not talk about that anymore. Who's Lucky Larry? We just buzzed right past that. And you know what? We kicked Iryna Zarutska off the stage. Exit stage left. We got something else to talk about now. We don't want people thinking about this too long. No, it must be thought about. Because it's a turning point for the United States. And I believe it was the night before that show that I my sleep schedule was off, and I was feeling lots of emotions watching that story develop, Iryna Zarutska. And you know just how messy the conversation is, and how it gets distorted intentionally by people that want to weaponize it and make sure that you're not allowed to discuss what's happening. And the media only covers one-sided stories. And guess what? It's always aimed against white people, because that is the Obama doctrine. That is what the lying legacy media companies have been coached to do, taught to do, trained to do, funded to do. And it's all part of that, just this bigger thing. And it's not just white people. It's also MAGA members. Do you support the president? Well, you're clearly a Nazi. You have to punch a fascist, punch a Nazi. So it's so interesting that the fire a fascist movement is growing, except you don't have to distort people. You just literally have their words out there. And there are people trying to actually justify what happened because, yeah, you got freedom of speech, but you don't have freedom from consequences. Remember all that? Remember when America burned in 2020? What do you think we're... Hi, Mr. Ben. What do you think we were headed to with Iryna Zarutska? Some Ukrainian girl. Butchered unnecessarily. Charlie Kirk butchered unnecessarily. Both to the throat. One of them we've never heard speak, and the other has left a library that will live on. So we're going to kind of unpack what we have. We are the TNAM trash pandas, rifling through the rubbish, separating fake news from fact. So if you have any stories you want me to discuss, tag us on our X feed. Let me show you our profile. Hit like, hit subscribe. By the way, click the share this show button and send a text message to a couple of your friends and copy and paste it. Send a couple direct messages on Facebook and just say, hey, we're watching the show live. You guys want to jump in and talk about it? Like, we're trying to grow the show. The show must grow on. There you go. The show must grow on. As Ben Shapiro kind of said, pick up the bloody microphone and keep it going. Because you don't get to silence people because you have terrible ideas, or you think that the other people have terrible ideas. You use force in self-defense, and you don't get to loosely define what that is. That's a pretty specific thing. But this is our X feed. We're at American_media_ right here. So make sure you're following us on X, and pinned to that page is our Patreon link right there, our conversation with John B. Wells. So thank you to our current Patreon subscribers and to future Patreon subscribers. We're ready. We need you. It's like once a month. And we usually post two videos a month. So it's like $10 a month or something like that. I think it's $5 a creation is the lowest option. Or you could do 15 a month or 100 a month or 1,000 a month. Just a couple of sponsors makes a world of difference. You have no idea what 50 people donating $100 a month could mean to the operations over here. And everybody who's chipping in $5 or $10 here and there it's incredible. It's heartfelt. It's moving. It's encouraging. It's growing. It's appreciated. It's used wisely, and it does really help offset quite a few things. So thank you to everybody. But if you have a story you want to share, tag us at American_media_, and we will click on notifications and see if we can't work that into the program. So quick hello to everybody in the group. John, Dr. John, that is. Marion says John wins the comments section. Howdy, everyone. First comment on there. He wants a cookie. Well, you know. If you give a mouse a cookie, he'll ask you for some milk. You know how that goes. Talking about finger pointing. Kenneth says his finger pointing often leads to finger pulling. Okay. Hey, pull my finger. We are the Trash Pandas. Hoorah! John, question of the day. What is sleep? Yeah. Marion has difficulty sleeping all the time, but definitely difficult this week. Coffee Mom, howdy. 3 coffees today. Yeah, I'm probably on 3 coffees today. I was just thinking how I want a different blend. Maybe what I want to do is get one of those coffee sponsors where I can customize my blend to make it a TNAM blend or a Trash Panda blend. I feel like I want something different out of my coffee. David saying, let's hope for positive vibes. Well, I mean, look, the fire of fascist movement is a direct blowback to the bullies. The hardcore violent leftists are bullies who have been threatening normal Americans for a very long time. Do you mean that they're not normal? Lay out the top 20 ideas, put them side by side, and tell me what makes sense. If you're arrested 14 times and you're an absolute psychopath and your mom is begging for you to stay incarcerated / committed into a mental institution, would you A, call it sympathetic to let that creature, call it a rabid pit bull, a rabid squirrel, a rabid raccoon, a rabid, do you want to just let that back out to attack the next thing, to cause the next problem? Or take that thing into a place where it could be treated humanely, so it's guaranteed they can't harm anybody else or themselves. I mean, just lay out the policies. Either there's something that makes sense or it's what the radicals are pushing. It's common sense. It's an 80-20 country. 19% approval rating for the left right now. Let's hope for positive vibes. We have to call this stuff out for what it is. Kenneth, David, it's positive now that you're here. Oh, so supporting. Coffee Mom, it's been a really tough week for sure. Okay, so did you see they caught the guy and read what the bullets say? Okay, so I heard about the bullets yesterday. A Steven Crowder got a message that said there was trans stuff written on bullets. And I don't know that was confirmed in connection with this guy today. Also, what are we talking about? The story, he takes a shot from on top of a roof far away. By the way, why are there no drones looking at rooftops? You have a security team. Why is that not the first thing you're doing is looking? You set 4 drones hovering in one space, and you draw the map around the rooftop, and you say, alert me to any movement up here. Isn't that the first thing security companies are doing for outdoor events? It cannot just be me that's thinking this. It cannot be just me. So he takes a shot, and then what? Then he disassembles his rifle, or he just runs with it? Because it looked like the person running across the rooftop didn't have a rifle with him. But then they're saying they found a rifle somewhere else. So did he disassemble the rifle and then pack it up and then assemble it again and then leave it in the woods so it could be found? That part makes no sense to me. So if you have information on that, tag me on X at American_media_. At least, 72 hours after an incident, we don't know so much. And the reports that we're getting might be incomplete or completely erroneous or some blend in between. We're going to unpack it and try to sort out what we still have questions on and what we're just going to sort it all out. Trash and truth. No agenda. Trash or truth. So I heard about the bullets and the inscriptions and stuff, but I haven't heard it in the last day, so I don't know if that was confirmed. No, I'm not going to do that kind of. I don't want a panda poop blend. Thank you, John. Nice. Coffee Mom says, get Dunkin' Donuts. It's the best. Yeah, but don't spill it on yourself. Got to be careful. I heard their coffee's very hot. Yeah, I did watch. You said there was a press release today, and I did watch the video, and we'll share it. I'm going to click on. We're going to put the show intro on here and kick off scrolling through the news in a moment. Yeah, but there's the video of him running across the roof and then kind of dangling from the rooftop and then falling down. And then almost looks like he hurt his ankle on it as well. Oh, poor thing. Yeah, boy, oh boy. So, yeah, I didn't see if he were if you would have. I feel like you would have seen a rifle. It's a long, straight object that, as he's moving, it would be moving like a staff that he's carrying, a long rifle. Like it would have been prominent in the photo that I watched. But we'll break it down. We'll find it and we'll play it as slow as we can. I mean, Was it attached to the backpack? Was it already on his back? I don't know, but let's take a look. And then if you're trying to get away, why would you leave it out for people to find? Why not just take it back to where you are? I have questions. Anyway, we're going to sort it all out on the program. Thank you all for watching. The TNAM Daily Show begins right now.
Your guide to the truth, thenewamericanmedia.com.
I really do need to make that new show intro already, because that's for the Agree to Disagree show, and I've sort of settled on this being the TNAM Daily Show here at the New American Media. I have thoughts. I have to-do lists as well. All right, hit like, subscribe. Like I said, click that button that says share this show and text a couple smart people that you know and go, hey, we're talking about all the things. Jump in that thing. We're talking live. We're chatting live. And if news breaks, tell me about it. Copy us on X, and we'll grab the notification and add it to the stack and talk about it. But you got to tell me, because I'm focused on juggling chainsaws and apples over here. I got lights and monitors and screens and all sorts of things. So, I can monitor some things, but not everything. So keep me in the loop. Someone said he had the rifle in his pants. That sounds like a terrible pickup line. All right, let's get into the program today. I guess first off, I got getting some of these here. I can see the reels, but I can't see. Oh, there we go. Now it's changed. Did I share that? It's not showing. Okay, hold on. Oh, there we go. Let's do it that way. Okay. Are you following the New American Media on Instagram? Please do so. We're 60 people away from 1,000, and I actually think 1,000 followers unlocks something for the account. So could you please follow it and please copy and paste it and send it to a couple friends and go, hey, the shows that they do on the live show, they share early in the day. So all those little, are they called reels at the top of the screen, or like, I don't know, posts and reels and shorts and I don't know the names of all these. These are the posts. But we had a couple. Let me share some of these with you. Tyrion Lannister. When you tear out a man's tongue, you are not proving him a liar. You are only telling the world that you fear what he might say. Game of Thrones. Look at this image. Will it get bigger if I do this? Maybe. No. Let's just go like that. If you swap the races of everyone in this picture, the Iryna Zarutska case, a hooded white guy behind an innocent little black girl minding her business just butchers her as three whites just sit on watching, doing nothing. If you swap the races of everyone in this picture, Charlotte would be burning to the ground today. And the left has decided whenever they find something that they can, they want to maximize the pain and maximize the anger, maximize the rage, maximize the destruction, and push, because the progressive movement must continue pushing and pushing and pushing. It never stops. What's lost in this Charlie Kirk story? Replace Charlie Kirk with President Trump last year in Butler. That's what they wanted. They wanted to replace what happened to Charlie Kirk with President Trump because they couldn't beat him. They couldn't beat the MAGA movement, the normal Americans in this country that just want some common stuff in place. Also sort of libertarian, you do your thing, I'll do mine, don't push your stuff on us. Let's not maybe push it on you. And let's try to find a way to coexist. Let's find a better way. But to them, you do what I say when I say, or else I destroy you. That is the mind virus, the woke mind virus, the cancel culture. It goes by so many names. DEI. The hyperfixation on demonizing Eurocentric, Caucasian, white lineage, background, history, all of it. It's been a coordinated attack to enrage people. And so whenever I mentioned earlier in the program, it's one of the topics I don't care to put a lot of time into. That's why but that Iryna Zarutska story, it shows you what Democrat leadership will give you when you let a 14-time arrested person whose mom is pleading, keep this person in an insane asylum. There's something off. He's saying he's hearing voices and people implanted him with something that are telling him what to do. He either was implanted in an MK Ultra program, either mentally, telepathically, ritualistic, like there's different ways to do it, or some sort of actual implant. If they're working on Neuralink, you don't think people could work on other things? Either way, that person is a danger to themselves and to other people. And the Democrat leadership said, hey, I have an idea. Dump him back on the street. And the result is Iryna Zarutska. Say your name. Type it, please. Iryna, Iryna Zarutska. Iryna Zarutska. It's a flashpoint. Because you look at crime statistics and you hear white people are 30 times more likely to be killed by a black person than a black person is to be killed by a white person. But you look at what's happening in Chicago and you look at what's happening on the the light rail line in Charlotte to Iryna Zarutska, 14-time arrested. The people committing the crime are a very small percentage of the community, but they will not stop committing crimes until you stop them. The only thing that stops a good guy with a gun is a bad guy. The only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. And people were dancing on the graves of Charlie Kirk. Well, he mocked empathy. Well, yeah, empathy at the cost of, and you're missing the whole context of the thing he was saying. Well, he said in a society like ours, if there's Second Amendment, unfortunately, there's going to be some killing. So, see you, dude. People are dancing around laughing at that. You got what was coming to you. You missed the whole fucking point of the concept of what he was saying. We are not a free people unless we can defend ourselves from monsters like the guy that butchered Charlie Kirk, like monsters like the guy that butchered Iryna Zarutska. This week has been, without a doubt, a turning point for the USA. So that's another post that we had up there. Just whenever someone starts yelling racist, 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 it's from the Barack Hussein Obama School of Community Agitation, weaponizing mob culture, assassination culture, praising Luigi Mangione. You can dislike the healthcare system all you want, but you get involved and you make a difference and you change it. You just don't get to butcher people. That's not how this fucking works. But in their minds, if you label someone a Nazi and a fascist enough, well, it's our duty, right? Like, we got to take them out. It's either them or us. And the teachers have been manipulating the kids, causing brain damage with all of this propaganda. This hardcore leftist, Marxist, Stalinist, Leninist, whatever you want to call it, weaponized agenda. You saw it in 2020. Let's go burn everything down and bail out the violent people doing it. The Democrat mayors sicked their mob on you. They said you can't be in society unless you take this thing that I demand goes inside of your body. I'm pretty sure we call that rape in almost every corner of the country. You can't forcibly put something into somebody else. That's called a rape. But I guess if you're talking about the medical establishment and you put it in a little thing and you got to do the thumb push, then I guess it's different. The fascists. Coffee Mom, I posted a TikTok for Charlie and they took it off the For You page because it goes against policy guidelines. How? It's a prayer for him. Deep state demons, dude. Anyway, this is a very important image when you want to consider race relations. Just always swap it out. Well, what if it was something different? And in the same week, I hate that this happened. But it is a part of the historical record. And if you allow reality to be whitewashed and censored and deleted into oblivion, you get to erase it from the history books. But this image up above on the Instagram page, it says, and that look of sheer terror on that innocent Iryna Zarutska, butchered by an absolute demon. On the left, it says, that's the knife that ended white guilt. Because make no mistake about it, you cannot connect point A to point wherever the hell we are now without the phrase white guilt. It's been the cornerstone of the hardcore leftist propaganda machine, at least since Obama got there. And it's been bubbling under the surface for decades, being pushed in the fringe. And then if you make enough people feel guilty about themselves, their history, things they didn't do, mind you, and you get to do everything. You've broken them. And then the people pleasers who want to keep going into education meaning indoctrination by some purple-haired radical who hates America, hates you because of what you look like, hates you because of how you vote, hates you because these people have been abusing our children in our schools, then reinforced through MSNBC and CNN. And then the hammer of the Democrat politicians, be it Obama, Mayorkas, Biden, Clapper, Comey, Brennan, Harris, all of it. Walz, Waters, Pelosi, all of it. They've all been. You've never seen anything like this. It is the complete weaponization of our government to meet their Marxist needs. So this says that's the knife that ended white guilt. And then on the right, it says that's the bullet that ended the moderate right. Consuming lots of information, lots of stories about Charlie Kirk this week. And you know what? You can disagree. How many letters of the alphabet? I actually don't remember. Is it 30? No, 26. 26 letters of the alphabet, right? Am I right? 26 letters. I'm trying to remember. Why did I think 32? 26. 20. I could ask Grok, but why don't you tell me in the comments? Hello, Robin McBride. Happy to have you back. Robin down there in Florida. I saw somewhere that she boarded a train that was only ever used. What? Yeah, it was rarely used. Is that what you were typing? Hello, Donat. Everybody in chat. Yeah, 26. That's what I said. But the moderate right, this guy, his thing was, I want to go and talk to everybody. I want to defend my positions and engage in maybe 32 NFL teams I'm thinking of. Thank you. That's juggle enough numbers in your head, you're bound to have moments. Yeah, that's the bullet that ended the moderate right. Charlie Kirk was moderate. He was peaceful. He was an evangelist, essentially. A philosopher, debating the issues of the day, conversing with the people. Like that's what you aim at. You don't have to. I watch Bill Maher. I don't try to put him in my sights because he said something I didn't like. You go, there he is being an asshole again. Dude's totally wrong. He's off his rocker on that. You don't get to end him. And then sometimes you go, all right, that's actually a pretty decent point. Or you're so full of Trump derangement syndrome that you have to take the opposite opinion of anything that someone on the right says, even when they're saying, after 13 arrests, you don't let them out for the 14th. You've lost your free range privileges. You're a menace to society. If we can get you on some meds, and if you can prove a couple years of whatever, maybe even parole at that point starts to be, but you look at the crime statistics and it's like, if the same handful of people are committing 15 crimes before they're finally removed, it's skewing all the statistics to make a lot of people look at the demographic in a certain way. And I think that's incredibly unfair to people I know, to people I interact with, to any block of people, any sort of demographic of people. TMZ, by the way, you heard that story that they were cheering when they found out that Charlie Kirk was gone. And then they tried to lie about it and say that they were watching a car chase. I watch car chases. I watch them. Was I ever cheering a car chase? Well, actually, in Black America, wasn't the O.J. Simpson a racially polarizing event for some reason? You think white people just woke up one day and go, hey, we're going to frame this prominent black guy? Huh? He did it. But even then, people were arguing, oh, no. And it became a team game. I'm team OJ and you're team Whitey. I'm team good, you're team bad. I'm team super smart and you're a fascist. Charlie Kirk was moderate. He wanted to talk to you. We said yesterday he embodied the agree to disagree energy that we created 14 years ago. I mentioned yesterday how I briefly ran into Charlie Kirk at Politicon in 2018, walking from one point to the stage of a sold-out event. He had zero time to spare, and he gave me 20 seconds and a soundbite. And the soundbite was, the truth always wins. He worked at Real America's Voice, and I had the blessed opportunity to cover the Bronx President Trump rally last year and report to Jack Posobiec on human events and the show following that. I do forget the name of it. Actually, I never knew the name of it. It was 3 lovely ladies that I was speaking with, I believe. And then Steve Bannon chopped up several segments from the day that I delivered for his War Room segment that night. Charlie Kirk was the regular. He was the guy on Real America's Voice. So I bumped into him once. I had a personal encounter. He was gracious with the zero time he had. And it's like if those videos you see, someone comes up and goes, hey, man, I'm having a real hard time. I got to get some diapers for my daughter. I don't have any money. Is there anything you can do to help? But they'll go up to someone that looks like they don't have a lot. The person just without even thinking, just reaches in their pocket and goes, hey, man, here's $10. I know, I've been there. He's like, oh, but dude, why are you doing that? You probably don't have it to spare. And like, no, man, like you just got to help where you can, how you can, or whatever. And then they try to bless him with something nice. It's a whole series of videos. A lot of them are probably staged. Also, programming note of the day, don't share quotes of athletes talking about how they're donating something or doing something. They're almost all fake. So be discerning in that. But you give what you can, even if you don't have anything. He had no time. The crowd was waiting. The event was going. He was being shuffled by someone that really wanted him to just keep going. And he was cordial. He was professional. He was polite. He knew I was just trying to get but ask him a question. Just we're all in media doing stuff. That video introduces you to people that watch it on the other. It's a whole thing. And he gave that. He had no time and he gave 20 seconds. So I had a brief appearance on the network he's at. I interviewed him briefly for the New American Media at the Politicon. And so, I mean, I didn't know Charlie well, but my lone interaction with him was stellar. And since we overlapped on the Venn diagram, we both worked at the same place. I was a one-day guest thing. So I kind of consider this guy to be a distant cousin that I ran into a few years ago at a family reunion. It's not my sibling. It's not my mom or my dad or my kid, but like, I met him. He was cool. Wished him well. We had some overlap at Politicon, some overlap in the Bronx with Real America's Voice. And he worked at Real America's. Like we knew each other. We were distant cousins who met once at a family reunion years ago. That's how I'm sort of compartmentalizing and distilling my non-relationship, pseudo-relationship to and with Charlie Kirk. And I mentioned that I don't regularly binge his content. I see clips and I watch. I've watched more in the past couple days maybe than I ever have. The left has no idea what they did making a martyr out of Charlie Kirk. The left. And when we talk about the other side, I don't want to say the right. I want to say normal Americans, because normal Americans just want normal stuff. And there's a radical fringe that wants some other things, some left and some further right. Fine. But I'm just calling them normal Americans, common sense stuff. Clean cities, clean streets, low crime, low taxes, safe neighborhoods, common sense. That's it. We kind of don't. It doesn't need to be much more complicated than that, but they want to destroy everything around them, burn the cities down, tear the statues down, shoot the most effective communicators. It's a war that they have declared on us, the normal Americans. And that bullet in that picture right there, that is the bullet that ended the moderate right. You don't need to read too much more into that. But if you remain moderate after watching this week, you're sort of missing the point. It's time to get engaged. It's time to stand up boldly, peacefully. Although you're standing up peacefully in the middle of a war. So you might want to take cover behind something solid, such as a rock or a tree or a vehicle. And you might want to have something in your hands just in case you need to use it. But you are under attack right now because they are losing. They lost. It's not done, but it is done. This is just the lashing out of a defeated movement, a defeated ideology, a defeated toxin that's been mixed into the supply of humanity intentionally through the Obama doctrine and what created him in the first place. It's been there before Obama, but I mean, he's the one that really weaponized it to levels that you've never seen. Yeah, methamphetamines have been around, but you see what they were able to do to it in Breaking Bad? I mean, they took it up to a notch that was, whoa, impressive, right? Oh, yeah. Obama took it that next step, and they turned their ire at all of us, the normal Americans that just want to have a decent place to live and be left alone. No, they weaponized everything about everything and normalized violence and cancel culture at every turn. That image on the left is the knife that ended white guilt that has abused the children across this country into silence and compliance in joining along with the radical deep state Democrat Party for so long. And that image on the right is the bullet that ended the moderate right. Because we clearly recognize now that they have declared war on normal America. It was kind of hypothetical. It's kind of figurative, a manner of speaking before. No, it's quite literal at this moment. Here's another image on the New American Media Instagram page. It's a... There we go. So the left are represented in this cartoon at the bottom of a dam. A society has been built down there. We'll call that the left. Charlie Kirk was the dam that was holding all of this other stuff back. And up top with the water, while the dam is cracking and you can look at it there, that's actual right-wing extremists. I don't know that you've really met a lot of those people. Oh, you claim they're everywhere. And yeah, there have been some cases from time to time of things and people that have said some things. But you take a couple of anomalous situations out of the mix, you haven't even met the radicalized right-wing extremists because they aren't really a thing. There's some fringe groups that are fringe people with fringe ideas, or they get some people involved because a lot of what they say is good, but then they push a couple of bad things and go, I can't associate with that, obviously. But then the left will take some of those groups or some of those people or some of those events and tries to extrapolate that and make it seem like that's how all of MAGA is. That's how all normal America is because of a couple of people right there. But this has become a trend on the left. This is more than a couple of people. It's everywhere. And they're raising your kids 8 hours a day. They're pumping bullshit into your kids' brains. Why are you subjecting your child of God, to the type of radical, violent indoctrination from our education system, K through 12, college? No, Charlie Kirk was a moderate, and the left decided, hey, let's tear that down. Let's destroy that. Well, you know what's behind that? It's kind of the reason why the wall was built, why the dam was built, so that all of that other stuff stays away. But if you declare a war, what type of blowback do you think happens in that scenario? That's sort of the same thing you're looking at in Israel-Palestine, the other topic that I hate talking about. Because as I said, either the Jews are behind everything or the Jews are the scapegoated innocent people of everything. It's every time something happens, the finger gets pointed there. Well, if it happens all the time, what does that tell you? It must be them. Or they're always the scapegoat, or something in between, or whatever. That's the other topic I don't love doing deep dives on. Charlie Kirk was a moderate. Charlie Kirk wanted more peaceful conversation. And you silenced him for that. That's not okay. All right, Robin is listening from the gym today. This is wild. So you're listening from the gym. What machine are you on? The elliptical. Elliptical. What a fun word to say. Elliptical. Danette here says there was a Senate hearing with a former military member who was going over the border issues. And he stated that we should all go out with tied shoes to be prepared at any moment for the sleeper cells. What does that mean? He stated that we should all go out with tied shoes. Oh, like just don't go in public in Crocs? Don't go out in public in flip-flops? People. Barack Hussein Obama, Mayorkas, Clapper, Comey, Brennan, Biden, Harris, the whole Democrat regime flooded America with 40 to 50 million non-Americans. The left does not like this country as it is, and they are willing to do anything to destroy it and rebuild it in their graven image. They had traditionally been very well funded with the non-governmental organizations, which are clearly governmental organizations. You're damn right you should be ready. You should become physically fit. Try to reduce the calorie consumption if that's something you and your doctor think is okay, or maybe consider fasting or walking or working out or some variety of that if you're not feeling good about how you feel. Just try to eat actual clean ingredients, less of them. Clean water, clean protein, some fresh organic fruit, fresh organic vegetables. Get used to that sort of hungry feeling. You can drop some weight and you can fuel your body with what you need. If you're not physically fit, what are you going to do if a sleeper cell activates? I'm sorry, or when a sleeper cell activates, when the Trojan horse is initialized, when the Manchurian candidate's work is done. That's exactly what Obama was, what he is still. You saw what happened when COVID was unleashed on the world. You don't have to go far back in history to talk about theories. They lied about everything involving COVID. They said it was a naturally occurring event that happened at a wet market. Yeah. Or maybe it was a potentially intentional bioweapons attack on humanity that was then used to usher in mail-in ballots that could be, what they say in Chicago, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Vote early, vote often, right? To stage a coup to remove our president of the United States, to then open our borders and flood 40 million, 50 million hostile non-Americans meant to be the foot soldiers to take over, military-aged men. This is a hot war. I know Charlie Kirk spoke peacefully. I know that he was essentially an evangelist. He was someone preaching the gospel of the Bible, trying to preach the gospel of Christianity and how a Christian would want to make sense of the tenets of their faith worked into a world that we find ourselves in. Well, Charlie Kirk said that if his daughter was raped, then he would encourage her to have the child, so he got what he deserved. Can you believe he? Yeah, some people can have an opinion that's antithetical to the one you hold. And you know what? Guess what? It is even possible for ideas to evolve over time. And guess what? It's possible for your ideas to evolve over time. You don't get to justify away political assassination. But people are. And I told somebody off, somebody in my orbit. Somebody else in the orbit was banned from one of the groups. Somebody else was banned from another group. They all earned that. Somebody else lost 2 paying jobs. With more on the way. The pushback has occurred. The left has no idea what destroying the dam of Charlie Kirk has done to open up right-wing extremism. And by the way, so what would one of the claims be? I've heard them all. It was obviously a hit. It must have been done by, and you fill in the blank, by an Islamist who wants to promote Sharia law taking over the country in an invasion and overthrow in a caliphate to change America from a Judeo-Christian nation, from a Christian nation, into an Islamic nation. Oh no, it was done by Israel because Charlie Kirk was questioning Israel. Or it was done by the leftists just because they've been radicalized to violence by Obama and team and Biden in the way that they've tried to turn everyone into Nazis and fascists, and your life is literally under assault if you don't end them. That's how you get people celebrating, singing songs, laughing, cheering, clapping the assassination of a father and a husband and one of the most effective leaders in normal America. You got to stop saying right-wing America, Republican America, MAGA America, because that's still a box that you can parse out and go, well, they are kind of about that, and I'm really not into that. Normal America. So are you saying the other side's not normal? Political violence should not be normalized. Defense of nations should be. All right, Robin's doing weight work. Good. Don't skip leg day. Did anyone see the videos of what looked like air blowing Charlie's shirt out? No, I did not. Kenneth, do you normally go for walks? And is 22 a reference to a pew-pew, or is that reference to actually the length of the walk? If you don't normally take walks, and now you're taking walks, I find that to be awesome. But Kenneth makes so many jokes, I never know when he's telling me the truth. But he knows that about me, so he knows that I'll always think that way first. Yeah, guys, girls, please get outside, get some sun, get some activity, go into humanity and speak to people. Have pleasant interactions with people. Wear your shoes, like Danette said. Don't go out in Crocs or flip-flops in case you got to activate. And if you have to activate, do you have anything on you? Do you have the tools necessary to defend yourself, your loved ones, your environment, your country, your city, your state, your way of life? Charlie Kirk was a moderate. What did someone say? If you didn't like Charlie Kirk, you're going to love Nick Fuentes. Buckle up. There's a power vacuum now. Pamela Garfield, something or other, truth therapist, says, I am realizing how intentional the misrepresentation of Charlie Kirk is. I'm watching people explain or give context to his quotes over and over. But those who spew the hate don't care about context. They need to hate Kirk. They want to hate him. They are so empty inside that they need to feel morally superior, even if their belief of superiority is based solely on lies. We posted this comment. Notice how piles of fake quote stories about athletes and current events are circulating. People share even though the quote isn't true. A huge number of people are justifying and celebrating assassination and pointing to a few sentences without context. Zero discernment, zero context. Also, you don't get to advocate erasing people you disagree with because that literally makes you the fascist. I believe Charlie Kirk in November 27th of 2016 said, quote, you can tell a lot about a person by how they react when someone dies. You can tell a lot about a person by how they react when someone dies. So make sure you're following the New American Media on Instagram. The things we post, Instagram things are Instagram things that we post. They're important. I don't know how many of you check these regularly, but like those that I wanted to highlight, please take a second. And if you're not on Instagram, make an account and just follow us only. I don't care. But if we ever lose access to one account, we're going to use the next one. So please follow us in all the places. Let's go through the, reels or stories or things that we shared. Anna Paulina Luna, representative, says, this is an assault on every single one of us who refused to bow to leftist fascism. This is a direct attack on Christianity, on civil liberties, a direct attack on nationalism and conservatives. They don't want to talk about the fact that their rhetoric caused this. We are not murdering people. Leftists are. Alex is trying to make sense of this one. I think it might have been explained away, but maybe it wasn't. Let me do a little research while we talk about it. What do you here?
Look at this. Let's put this on screen from Amazon. Put the full screen up, please. The shooting of Charlie Kirk. Yeah, blow that up. Why does Amazon have the shooting of Charlie Kirk by Anastasia J. Casey posted one day before he was murdered? And then they updated it, and it's on the Internet Archive. That's been checked. It happened a day, September 9th. So it was already out there, and then they updated it today. Publication date, September 9th. The FBI needs to be knocking down some doors over there. But look at this. Let's put this on screen from Amazon. Put the full screen up, please. The shooting of Charlie Kirk. Yeah, blow that up. Why does Amazon have the shooting of Charlie Kirk?
Okay.
By Anastasia.
All right. For context, Grok is saying, yes, a book titled The Shooting of Charlie Kirk, a comprehensive account of the Utah Valley University attack, the aftermath, and America's response. Oh my gosh, that's the longest title ever. By Anastasia Casey did appear on Amazon with a listed publication date of September 9, one day before Charlie Kirk was fatally shot on September 10, 2025, while speaking at an event at that college in Orem, Utah. Screenshots of the listing circulated widely on social media, sparking conspiracy theories about foreknowledge of the event, as the book's description referenced the exact date, location, and circumstances of the shooting. Amazon quickly removed the book and clarified that it was actually uploaded and published in the afternoon of September 10, after the shooting occurred, due to a technical glitch in their system that incorrectly backdated it to September 9. Do you believe that? That sounds like TMZ telling you, no, they were cheering a car case, a car chase and a crash. So my question, okay. Name the other Amazon books that were uploaded on September 10 and suffered from the same alleged Amazon glitch as this book. That's the question I have. Several low-quality, apparently AI-generated books about the Kirk shooting appeared on Amazon shortly after the event on the 10th, with some experiencing the same technical glitch that backdated their publication dates to September 9 due to issues in Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing System, KDP. Amazon confirmed this glitch affected multiple opportunistic uploads, leading to the removal of several titles by September 11 evening. Okay, the following, so they were the only books to be backdated, allegedly, by Amazon, all related to Kirk as the topic. There's no evidence of non-Kirk related books being backdated in this incident, though the lack of broader reporting leaves open the possibility that other obscure titles could have been affected but went unnoticed. Oh, Kenneth's saying still such a book would come out months later. Yeah, but what happens, Kenneth, is they're making artificial intelligence created books. Just like how I'm asking and they're typing out paragraphs. You could kind of guide AI to write something for you. So let's continue digging into this. I don't know what to make of that. But it sounds as sketchy as the TMZ situation. But also, it is a thing that did happen. So many times Alex Jones speaks and you're like, I can't believe a single word this idiot has to say. Some people say. And some people think, well, you got Sandy Hook wrong. You should not be allowed to be a person in America again. Well, you shouldn't be allowed to do your job or make money or have a career again. Really? Okay. I'm glad you feel that way. But that's an interesting angle to consider. So what happened? I did something here that shared this from the New American Media. And it got a lot of views. Here's Matt Walsh breaking it down for you. Oh, let me double click it here.
Over the past 24 hours, I've seen some in the media, some of the very same people who intentionally stoked murderous hatred against people like Charlie Kirk and Charlie Kirk specifically, now saying that we need to turn down the temperature and start having conversations. Well, Charlie tried to have conversations with you on the left, and you killed him for it. You're killing us in our churches. You tried to kill our president. You killed one of our greatest advocates in Charlie Kirk. You have been openly cheering for and celebrating and encouraging and committing political violence for years. Antifa, BLM, well-funded, highly orchestrated, widespread movements based in and fueled by violence. You made a hero out of Luigi Mangione. And you celebrate Charlie's death even now. It's too late to turn the temperature down. This is not a time to hold hands. It's a time for justice. This is a time for good to fight back against evil. It is time for the righteous to prevail for the sake of our country and for our families and our children and for Charlie. Over the past 24 hours.
Yep. Well, I think this has music, so I can't play it.
How do you want to be remembered?
I mean, if I die?
Everything just goes away. How would you, if you could be associated with one thing, how would you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered.
He wants to be remembered for courage, for his faith. Most important thing is his faith and his mind.
Remind yourself of that.
Everybody dies, you face God, the judge, and he's going to list everything you did wrong in your life, and it's going to be a long sentencing hearing for me. Will you get justice, which is hell, because that's what we deserve? Mercy, which is less of that. I'll allow the theologians to figure out that. Or grace. What is grace? It's something so unique, so profound, which as soon as the sentencing is about to happen, someone ushers in and says, nope, I will serve that prison sentence for him. I'll go into the prison cell for him or her so they can live forever. That's grace. You didn't earn it. You didn't check boxes for it. You didn't go park cars for a ministry. Get you those extra points to get into heaven. None of that's true. That's equally accepted for all people. Jesus Christ, your Savior of the world, born new. Be completely renewed. That's a gift that we must try to give all people in the world. I don't like reading his words. Watch the clip if you would like to. They put music behind it, so I can't do it. I had 2 or 3 videos with copyright claims because 10 seconds into watching a clip, I realized, oh, darn, there's music here that's completely irrelevant. And then YouTube puts a little slap on your video. How do, Droopy Dog? David says, I'm sick of watching all this bullshit continue. We know what exactly has to happen. Well, someone said, okay, you're in a war. Who do you go after? Like, what would it even look like? What does it look like? We know what the left is doing. They're targeting prominent figures on the right, from Trump to Kirk. You don't get bigger than Trump and Kirk. You don't. This normalization of political violence. I think the Democrats have become a domestic terrorist organization. I know they have. You see it every day. The laundry list is out there for all to see. They called Barack Obama a community organizer. He was a community agitator. That's how he cut his teeth. It was the Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson tree of point a finger, make an accusation, get a shakedown, force compliance, force guilt, force silence. Shut up, sit down. We're in charge now. It's an overthrow. It's a coup. It's a coup of your company. It's a coup of your money. It's a robbery. It's piracy. I'm boarding your boat and it's mine now. It's piracy. He said he's hung out with presidents and flown on Air Force One and all that stuff. Turning Point USA, it's great. And that doesn't really actually matter. What actually matters is your relationship with the divine and your family and your kids and maybe a close collection of friends and your relationship with the truth. And you could decide to lie all the time and you'd be a tortured individual, and you know those people. You just turn on a television. They're constantly lying and they become disfigured. either emotionally, spiritually, physically, because when you lie, I believe you actually committing suicide of the soul. I really believe that. He says, why are you a Christian? He says, yes. He says, why? He says, well, because Jesus saved my life. I'm a sinner, gave my life to Christ, most important decision I ever made. So you believe the Bible's real? Yes, I believe the Bible's true and real. Why is that? Well, I give you the technical answer. There's never been an archaeological discovery that's contradicted any of the truth that's in the Bible, the knowable facts of it, the wisdom inside. It's if you apply the wisdom in your life will improve dramatically. And finally, the most accurate and transparent, historically robust account that one can have of the most important figure ever to live in the history of the world, Jesus of Nazareth, and the resurrection is the pinpoint of my belief that Jesus did rise from the grave so that we may live. And he calls for people, if you haven't given your life to Christ, it's a liberating thing. Most important thing you can do. To be born anew. 1993 to 2025. There he is with his wife and his 2 children who will never get him back. Rambo says if I were to post a video with a cut to my hand, it would be removed for graphic content. But any videos of media characters getting shot in the head are able to be viewed by all. You can only see what is supposed to be seen. This is a thread. Highlander says, I've seen a couple of things happen the last few days that look like they have been done to get a desired response. It looks to be succeeding. So are people on the outside, whether it's Iran or Israel or Ukraine, and by the way, Ukraine has their fingerprints all over the assassination attempt of Trump on the golf course. Don't forget. And there could be multiple bad actors at play. It's not like all the evil's coming from one source. Just close the manhole cover like it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon or video game. Just close the manhole cover and the demons will stop. Just close that manhole cover up nice and tight and they can't escape. No, there's a lot of bad stuff coming from lots of different directions, competing rage, competing violence. It's not just one thing with one ideology. That's the other tricky part of the problem. It's not all. If your place is being flooded, you know what you need to do. You need to go turn the water supply off and stop the pipe that's delivering the water from making it worse. There's a lot of pipes that need to be turned off now. But, the suggestion here is that maybe there's an outside influence, be it Satan, be it Netanyahu, who people call Satan Yahoo, be it Ukraine, be it the Venezuelan drug cartels, be it the deep state Democrats, the deep state rhinos. The list goes on and on. But if you want to abuse a nation, you subject them to stuff like this and you make them see it and it rewires your brain. I mean, I know people that are waking up at 1, 2 in the morning and, they made it through the whole day of the Kirk assassination and then they just broke down, started crying, went to church at 2 in the morning, crying in an empty church, loud where every echo is bouncing off the walls. People having trouble sleeping, people angry. And what was this done for? Was it done to spark a war? Was it done to try to get the right to be violent? There's a lot of accusations right now. To what end was it done? And what was with all the people that were distracting from the moment? Somebody got up and was cheering and turning around and just so excited that guy was just assassinated in front of him. That's a demon. And then the person that said, I have the right to remain silent, and he got himself arrested, but he wasn't the guy. Why did that guy pop up? Were they part of a team? Were there hand signs being made on a hat or hands or different? There's a lot of questions we're trying to sort out. Martin Geddes says, anything sudden and man-made that urgently demands collective emotional energy is a psyop. No exceptions. No exceptions to that. What do you think? Do you agree or disagree with this? Question of the day again. Anything sudden and man-made that urgently demands collective emotional energy is a psyop. Do you agree or disagree? And tell me why. Robster says, look like everyone is failing or falling for the latest planned events. Please remember what you see on screen is not possibly actually real. This is not well written. It seems no one learns anything. 7C says, more often than not, the government will capitalize on a highly emotional populace by passing draconian legislation. Now, that is true. The ones who allow their emotions to be manipulated to the point where they are begging for their oppressors to be more oppressive are not equipped with the mental acuity to understand how they are being used. I've seen way too many posts already about gun control, more surveillance, and even praising Palantir and martial law. Pay attention to who these people are. Realize they're trying to emotionally manipulate you into signing your rights away forever. By the way, the deep state demonic Democrats are trying to go out there and push to disarm innocent, peaceful Americans, which will never happen. It's a non-starter. And I really think those advocating for it in such a blatant disregard to our clear and obvious Second Amendment, I think they should be charged with treason. You're actively advocating for the dismantling of the core belief, the core cornerstone of the United States of America. There is no freedom of speech without the freedom to defend our right to say it. And that's pretty much exactly what they're laughing at Charlie Kirk about. Like, oh, you were a Second Amendment supporter, and look, you got shot. You kind of just proved his point that if we could have shot the bad guy first, an innocent human being would be alive. That mother would have the father of her kids alive in their house. You don't get to delete people you don't like. So there's truth in this thought. Okay, here you go. Just a thought. Don't you see how easy it will be to use the police state against the people if we continue this way? They'll mark someone a terrorist for saying the wrong thing or posting the wrong thing or thinking the wrong thing, and the crowd will cheer. Stop and think. Leonardo, I'm sorry, but a sniper on a roof with two patsies set up to take the fall does not sound like a deranged leftist. It sounds like a playbook from a spy organization that Charlie was starting to criticize. Of course, they're referencing Mossad, Israel. As I mentioned, with other fingers pointed at Iran, other fingers pointed at Ukraine, other fingers pointed at Venezuela, other fingers pointed at the drug cartels, other fingers pointed at, and this is the same thing you had with the JFK assassination. I mean, was it the CIA? Was it Castro? Was it the mob? Was it, there's so many potential suspects. Grace says, we're supposed to believe that some rando college-age troon, I don't know what that means. Is that a slur? Does that mean a tran, is that what that means? I don't know. Don't know the word. I'll call it a goon. That some rando college goon sniped Charlie Kirk from 200 yards, evaded police, and had multiple patsies in the audience claim responsibility. Oh, okay. Sure. Yeah, I got questions about the patsies in the audience. What was that about? Pat Murphy says, problem, reaction, cabal solution. Jeff Berwick mentions, yeah, hardly anyone is talking about 9/11 today. Notice that? Are you noticing? Noticing is a hashtag that's used to blame Israel for most of the problems in the world. Or about race relations being in the gutter. Or about 100 different things. Noticing is literally just a word, means I noticed something, but it's been sarcastically referred to when people start going down the rabbit hole to understand what's happening in the world. We're noticing the vast racial disparities of youth black crime all across our country. It's a epidemic. We're noticing that the numbers are staggering, stunning, confusing. Caveat, like I said, if it's just a handful of people causing all the problems, the left is not doing anything to protect that community from themselves, the worst of themselves. The mom that begs, take this guy off the streets, you just dump him back on the streets, and an innocent young lady, Iryna Zarutska, is gone. Say her name, Iryna Zarutska. Type it. IRYNAZARUTSKA. Because in the conversations we have with our friends, and God help them, the lefties in our lives, don't tell me I need to memorize George Floyd, but I don't have to memorize Iryna Zarutska. Everything about that is it's radicalizing. It really is. But how I mean it is just to work harder. Level up, plan, prepare better. Can't be ready for everything, but you can have a better plan today than you had yesterday. And that's something. But yeah, nobody's talking about 9/11. Who benefits from that? Michael Schellenberger is a great communicator. He's worth listening to.
Schellenberger with a new piece co-authored with Alex Gutentag for Public. Charlie Kirk either deserved to die or was asking for it, said many on the left yesterday about the popular 31-year-old conservative leader who is famous for debating college students. He's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures who is constantly pushing hate speech aimed at certain groups, said MSNBC political commentator Matthew Dowd just moments after a sniper shot Kirk in Utah. You can't stop with these sort of awful thoughts you have and then saying these awful words and not expect awful actions to take place.
Justification. I told somebody in my circle, fuck off. I think we need to stand firm and look these people in the eye and tell them what we feel about them. They have been acting with impunity for way too long. Thinking that, well, if I'm angry or if I'm louder, I'm going to get my way. That's called a tantrum. And no, you don't. David saying, I think the point of the Kirk assassination was to change the subject from 9/11. Get it away. Stop talking about it. Lucky Larry. John says they always cry gun control after they use a gun on us. Yeah, the reason they want to take your guns is so they can kill you with their guns. That's what criminals always do. And the Democrat Party has become a criminal organization, a terrorist organization. Prove me wrong. The evidence is everywhere. David says there's just too much information about who is actually responsible for 9/11. But I thought we know who it was. We found a passport, a pristine passport. All right, back to Michael Schellenberger.
The author of a new Batman comic book spinoff, Gretchen Felter-Martin, posted, "Thoughts and prayers, you Nazi bitch. Hope the bullet's okay after touching Charlie Kirk." And some in the news media referred to Kirk as far-right. But Kirk was not far-right or a Nazi, and he did not spread hate speech. Kirk was critical of transgender ideology, the left's dishonesty about race and crime, and the message of contemporary feminists. Consistent with his Christianity and his commitment to the American Constitution, Kirk believed that he had the right and a moral obligation to speak unpopular truths, including that it is not possible to change one's sex, that the rate of crime among black men is disproportionate, and that families provide social stability and fulfillment. Many on the left expressed upset at Kirk's assassination, and MSNBC and DC Comics fired Dowd and Felter-Martin. "I apologize for my tone and words," Dowd said at Blue Sky. "Let me be clear, I in no way intended for my comments to blame Kirk for this horrendous attack." Governor Gavin Newsom immediately condemned the assassination of Kirk, whom Newsom had debated on a podcast earlier this year. Other Democratic politicians did the same. And New York Times columnist Ezra Klein wrote about how one could vehemently disagree with Kirk as he did and still not believe he should be killed. But the extent to which people on the left expressed joy at the killing of Kirk nonetheless remains disturbing. Many progressives agreed with Dowd that Kirk is responsible for having created the environment that led to his death. Social media is filled with videos of leftists filming themselves openly celebrating Kirk's murder. Hundreds of thousands of people liked social media posts justifying the assassination. And now the mainstream liberal view is that Kirk encouraged political violence by spreading hate and misinformation. Dowd, in his apology, defended himself by saying, "I was asked a question on the environment we are in," and apologized for his tone and words, not his message, which was that Kirk had contributed to and perhaps birthed the heated atmosphere that led to his killing. Charlie Kirk isn't a martyr, wrote a progressive on X yesterday. He's a casualty of the violence he incited. That post has over 12 million views, 46,000 reposts, and 360,000 likes. But the environment that led to Kirk's death was in fact created by the left in its decades-long demonization and dehumanization of conservatives. For 80 years, schools, universities, and the news media have used Hitler, Nazism, and fascism as symbols of ultimate evil. To call someone a Nazi, fascist, or far-right is therefore to imply that they are part of this evil and, like the historical Nazis, must be eliminated. Over the last 10 years, not just the radical left, but also the mainstream news media, including the New York Times and mainstream Democrats like Newsom, repeatedly characterized Trump and his supporters as Hitler-adjacent fascists. The New Republic last year openly depicted Trump as Hitler. A recent South Park episode implied that Kirk was racist and an anti-Semitic influence over young people, despite Kirk's close relationship with influential Jewish conservatives and strong support for Israel that many on the right viewed as excessive. This was all part of a deliberate dehumanization campaign. Kirk, Trump, and other conservatives, Democrats argued, are white supremacists and misogynists who hate black people and women, who are committing trans genocide, and who are destroying our democracy. For progressives who truly believe this rhetoric, killing such individuals would be as justified as killing Hitler and his supporters 80 years ago. After all, this act would not only save the lives of black and trans people, but would also save the entire country from an authoritarian fascist dictatorship. The same leftists who had for decades produced studies, books, movies, essays, songs, and poems about how the Nazis dehumanized their enemies, dehumanized, without hesitation, MAGA conservatives. They falsely claimed Trump had praised white supremacists in Charlottesville in 2017, and reporters who had for decades covered Trump's rise to wealth and power in 2016 reported as truth the outlandish conspiracy theory that Trump was a Manchurian candidate controlled by Russian President Vladimir Putin, another alleged Hitler-like fascist. Why did the left spread so much hatred of Kirk and other conservatives? Why did they engage in so much dehumanization for so long? In large part, the reason is because Kirk... If you're not already a subscriber to Public, please subscribe now.
Okay. Yeah, I just got a message from someone saying I crossed a line with.
We pulled.
It was about a post that we said something that needs to be pointed out is the same people you see celebrating the murder of an innocent human being on TikTok are the same people teaching your children in public schools. They said, as if they don't have enough to worry about going to work every day without Christian nationalists now blaming them for Charlie Kirk getting shot. If you don't like violence, then don't agitate it. I'll address that in a moment. Here's Megyn Kelly.
Just this one, we could be here all day playing similar exchanges between Charlie and a trans advocate or activist or someone who said they just were trans at these events. This is the real Charlie Kirk. This is the actual Charlie Kirk and how he handled that issue.
And I've tried to be clear on that issue as well. I'm pro-orgasm. I don't want people butchering themselves unnecessarily if at all possible. If you want to love somebody that's 18 years of age or older, an adult, and wants to love an adult, you should be able to do your thing, and you shouldn't be attacked because someone doesn't like what you're choosing to do. And if you are an adult and want to pay for a surgery yourself that you feel is something you need to do, I would encourage you not to. You're fine as you're built. You're great as you're built. You can be you. You're okay. You're good being you. It's loving, it's compassionate, and it's also, end of the day, You should be able to make the decision that works for you. But you don't get to pretend to be a girl, because you can't become a girl if you're a boy. You can't compete in sports and punch girls in the head, because your biology does not lie. You're born a man. You are a man. You don't get to punch a man in a boxing match or an MMA fight or spike a volleyball and give the girl permanent brain damage. Guys play with guys. Girls play with girls. This is super obvious. And you have if you don't get to go into lady spaces like locker rooms, bathrooms. That's it. That's it. And I don't think that's very far off from where Charlie Kirk is saying in this clip.
Watch.
I just want to say I'm a transgender male. What age should kids be able to get things like hormone therapy? Because I don't know what's true, what's not.
Tell me, are you comfortable telling me your story?
I've known that since like 3rd grade, and I am currently 19, almost 20. I've known basically since then. I didn't start going by like a different name until 7th and 8th grade. I just don't know, like with the whole medical stuff, like what's true, what's not, what's helpful, because I've heard so many different opinions.
First of all, thank you so much for that.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm going to have an opinion that very few people will ever tell you, which is I want you to be very cautious putting drugs into your system in the pursuit of changing your body. I instead encourage you to work on what's going on in your brain first. I think what you need first and foremost is just a diagnosis. Just someone that is going to listen to what you've gone through, listen to what else is going on. My prayer for you, and again, very few people will say this, I actually want to see you be comfortable in how you were born.
Yeah.
I know that you might not feel that way, but I think that is something that you can achieve. I think that with the right team and the right people, you don't have to wage war on your body. You can learn to love your body.
It's absolutely beautiful and respectful in its honesty and its frankness. That's who he was. And it appears to have gotten him killed. We pulled just this one week.
I mean, it's a powerful clip, but to grab some half quote out of context and then extrapolate what you think that all of that means. Yeah, the justification people who've been sharing stuff and, well, he said this and he believed that. And you're like, none of this is actually accurate how it's being presented. And by the way, even if somebody had opinions you disagreed with, it's not a justification to assassinate them. So either way, that opinion of like, hey, well, he brought it on himself. That, live by the sword, die by the sword. If, you want to oppose us, you get killed. You know what happens. You know the deal. You know the thing. Charlie is going to be missed. Daily Caller says, don't forget that the left has been pushing harmful rhetoric for years.
I want you to stay angry.
That maybe Donald Trump will go away. Maybe he'll go to jail. Maybe he will die.
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
I said if we were in high school, I'd take you behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
I will go and take Trump out.
He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
Although I will say this, the last few days you woke up thinking there might be news. Just saying.
Casually hoping that they woke up to the news that the president wasn't with us anymore.
Violence doesn't come from Democrats, just to be clear.
Just to be clear, violence doesn't come from Democrats. People.
It is MAGA. It's specifically MAGA faction.
Biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized right up to the right.
Based on nothing. Based on lies. This guy. Stoking the flames. The community agitator in chief. His poisonous ideology. His fingerprints of poisonous ideology are all over the problems of 2025. This one has music, I think.
How many guys know what just happened the last hour and 15 minutes? Who has no clue what just happened the last hour and 15 minutes?
Patrick Bet David. I think this one's going to have music. I think I shared it twice, so let me leave this one. Stephen A. Smith has words.
I'm a black man born in America. I know what problems that exist in this country. But I also know there's far more good people than there are bad people in this country, regardless of who you are, what your ethnic background is. White, black, Hispanic, and beyond. I'm in a studio here in Las Vegas, and I'm looking outside, and I see people looking at me and smiling and saying, "What's up, Stephen?" They don't look anything like me. And I don't care, because they're showing me love, and I'm showing love right back to them. At some point in time, we got to recognize, can't just speak about it. Can't just give lip service to when such a vile act takes place. And we're going to give lip service to the tragedy of the moment. And then within 24 hours, we move on with our lives like nothing happened. Something did happen. Don't care what his political beliefs were. I don't care what he felt. I care about the fact that a man was gunned down in front of two of his children who are 5 years of age or less. That he's dead at the age of 31. That his wife is a widow. That his children are fatherless. Because his ideas and his beliefs differed from somebody else, apparently. And then I'm going online and I'm seeing people celebrating it. Shame. Shame on you. I'm a black man born in America. I know what problems that exist in this country. But I also know there's far more good people than there are bad people in this country, regardless of who you are, what your ethnic background is. White, black, Hispanic, and beyond. I'm in a...
Yeah, I didn't even see the jump. I'm watching it. I didn't even see the clip reset. Instagram is so good at making that video start over again without you noticing.
If you're
Grand Ole Evan
celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder because you think that he was a right-wing extremist, have you considered the possibility that his murder creates actual right-wing extremists? I don't think you guys understand that Charlie Kirk built his massive following slowly and steadily through moderate and civil discourse. But now that he is gone, that vacuum will be filled with discourse that is probably going to be far less moderate and far less civil. Charlie Kirk was not just good for the right, he was good for the left as well, because he upheld an environment of civil, nonviolent discourse between the left and the right. But I'm not so sure that the figures that follow him will do the same. I want to turn the temperature down, but it seems like every time there's a horrific national tragedy, from the assassination attempt on Trump to the stabbing in Charlotte to now the murder of Charlie Kirk, every time something like this happens, so many people on the left show their true character as something so unrecognizably evil that it pushes so many people to believe that civil discourse is no longer a possibility. And
that is a dangerous place to find yourself in, and it's also reality to some degree.
Can you really blame them? Because when you celebrate this, just because you disagreed with Charlie, you are saying that you think that death is a valid penalty for disagreement. If you're
I think it was Today's Show from Scott Adams. He was talking about why this feels so different. Question of the day: does this feel different than most stories? Does this feel different? I think Scott Adams pointed out Mike Cernovich, who is also in the intro to the TNAM Daily Show intro video. I think it was Mike Cernovich that said we're having the emotional reaction like we're watching our village getting ransacked and our loved ones getting, attacked, destroyed. We're having a physiological reaction. I kind of pondered yesterday, like, why does this feel different? It's like, well, he was on the short list for president right after J.D. Vance. An up-and-coming leader, a clear speaker, consistent track record, effective. And that piece was just taken off the chessboard. The opponent just reached over, grabbed it, and destroyed it. It can't go back on the chessboard. Your opponent destroyed your queen, your king, tried to kill the king in Butler, Pennsylvania. They can't beat you at chess, so they're destroying your pieces. Of course, that feels different. And I, frankly, didn't quite realize the scope to which Charlie Kirk's impact had made a difference. The youth are drastically anti-woke, anti-left, pro-normal America values, 80-20 issues, common sense, not Republican, not MAGA, not conservative, just common sense. After Charlie Kirk on the Sky app, there are people asking for the next person to be targeted, including J.K. Rowling, Matt Walsh, Trump, Ben Shapiro, Libs of TikTok, Elon Musk, and Andy No. I took as many screenshots as I could. You can't ignore the war that they have declared on you.
And
man who asked Kirk a question before he was shot speaks out.
People have obviously pointed to the irony that the point that I was trying to make is how peaceful the left was.
He was trying to make a point that the left is peaceful. They're not peaceful.
Right before he got shot. And that only makes sense if we stay peaceful. And as much as I disagree with Charlie Kirk, I'm on the record for how much I disagree with Charlie Kirk, but like, man, dude, he is still a human being. Have we forgotten that? Are we crazy? Like, and people have obviously.
Misfit Patriot says in Charlie's final post, he's telling all of you exactly what you need to know. Nobody will ever be able to fill the shoes of this absolute titan in the political commentary sphere, but maybe, just maybe, we can fill them together. It's not time to get violent. It's time to get loud. It's time to show them even if they kill one of us, they won't break all of us. His alleged final post, I have no reason to disbelieve it, but I'm not certain it is. Says, if we want things to change, it's 100% necessary to politicize the senseless murder of Iryna Zarutska, because it was politics that allowed a savage monster with 14 priors to be free on the streets to kill her. And on the same day that became the lead topic for me, and I dreaded that episode, because we've been so conditioned to have guilt and shame and silence. Oh, it's okay to riot because of reasons. It's okay. It's just systemic. Huh? Buzzwords, catchphrases, and just the overarching theme. Sit down, shut up. Don't discuss the tough stuff. Why are so many Democrats, George Soros appointed district attorneys, judges, why are they all letting so many monsters out? And why are so many of them in urban areas to terrorize the black community? It's almost like the Democrats don't give a flying fuck about the black community, and they never have. It's almost as if, I don't want to say that's the way it is, but it's almost as if they're the slavery party. It's almost as if they specifically target demographics of people to convince them that they're perpetual victims, systemic or whitey or colonization or capitalism or boogeyman or something. But you have no chance. Everything's rigged against you. They're evil. Don't worry. We'll steal some of their shit and give you a little bit of it. Okay. By the way, we're going to need you to get really angry and show up and demand things all the time. Don't worry. We'll let you know where to go. In fact, in many cases, we'll pay you a few bucks. It's almost like the left wants people destitute, desperate, needy, hands out, and then they get to play high and mighty because they give you scraps off of their plate. They're feeding scraps to entire demographics of people by convincing them that the other side, the normal American side, is evil. But we get told to dial back the rhetoric. Really? Really? From the side that's been calling us Nazis for 2 decades. It's the normal American community that needs to apologize. But no, Iryna Zarutska is symptomatic of a crime system that's letting out monster after monster, especially in the Black community, to become repeat offender after repeat offender, to boost those numbers, to make it look so lopsided, Black and white crime. Because so many criminals are just allowed to do bad stuff twice instead of once and done. One and done. 5 times, 10 times, 14 times. How many crimes did that monster, the killer of Iryna Zarutska, how many crimes did that person need to commit before they lost their free-range human privileges? And say, you are legitimately a menace to society. You're mentally damaged. And remove that demon from that community that's terrorizing them. George Floyd was not a good dude. They pretended they were, what was it, the telephone company or the cable company or something, and busted in a burglary, home invasion, pistol whipped a pregnant lady, held a gun to her belly, and there was a kid in the other room, and that person becomes the face of the modern civil rights movement because a guy had a heart attack, panic attack, overdose that ended with the cop on the knee at the top of the shoulder, the neck, the back area that looked really bad. Didn't show a crushed larynx or something like that on the autopsy report. Multiple autopsy suggestions, opinions, ideas, potential coercion to make sure that they delivered the correct autopsy so that you could string up Chauvin and feed the mob somebody they could rip from limb to limb, as if that was going to pacify the Democrat effort to ramp this up and turn it nationwide domestic terrorism. Because something bad happened in Minneapolis, it doesn't mean you get to destroy America. But that's what they've been trained to do. That's what they've trained their mobs to do. That's not the American way. That's their way. Iryna Zarutska should not have had to suffer like that. And we should demand action to make sure that doesn't keep happening. For everyone. Actually, this is one I'm going to take a screenshot of and send back to the person who sent me the message. Yeah, let me move the mouse out of the way here.
So, prayers and thoughts for Charlie Kirk. No, I have no prayers and thoughts for him left from all my prayers and thoughts for these innocent children who did nothing wrong. We're not sending out divisive, hateful messages. We're not saying that empathy is a problem with America. I refer to him as the anti-empathy guy. I won't type his name, not in capital letters anyway, definitely. Yeah. I just want to make sure that y'all had heard about the school shooting, because to me that is something that is more concerning than a douchebag who brings karma down on himself. I mean, ironically, the moment he's getting shot, what is he doing? When he's asked about mass shootings, compares them to gang violence in a dismissive way. Tell me that wasn't karma doing her finest work. Yeah, I'll praise the shooter. He did a good job. He had good aim.
I'll praise the shooter. He had good aim. Lisa Greenlee, English professor, teaching your kids.
Yeah. So, prayers and thoughts for Charlie.
This is a nice painting of Charlie Kirk, but it has music, so I'm pretty sure it has music. It has to have music.
You are commanded to go do something productive with your life. Wow. To go give and to...
Nope, tiny little piano means I can't play the video. The Blaze reporting a liberal wearing a mask decided to show up to the University of Nebraska with signs saying Charlie deserved it. So students took matters into their own hands and tossed him in the water fountain.
Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Come on. 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 Good boy. Good boy. Good boy.
Okay.
Come on. Good.
Not sure how you feel after watching that. Here's the 4 stages of ideological subversion, Yuri Bezmenov.
And people have obviously pointed to the irony that,
as I mentioned before, exposure to true information does not matter anymore. A person who was demoralized is unable to assess true information. The facts tell nothing to him. Even if I shower him with information, with authentic proof, with documents, with pictures, even if I take him by force to the Soviet Union and show him concentration camp, he will refuse to believe it until he is going to receive a kick in his fat bottom. As I mentioned before, exposure.
There you go. Is there music on this? Yep. Ella says, leftists are naive to celebrate our most moderate right-wing figure being assassinated in broad daylight. Moderate conservatism died today. Enjoy what comes next. Andy Frisella reacts to this.
That this wasn't a fucking attack on free speech, you're insane. They're trying to tell every single person that if you speak out, we'll fucking kill you. Charlie Kirk wasn't the most aggressive person. He was actually the only person that was willing to have open dialogue with the other side, and they fucking killed him for it. I'm fucking done. I'm done tolerating any of this crazy shit. I'm done tolerating fucking making any excuses or having any kind of empathy for these crazy fucks. This is good versus motherfucking evil, and we've known it for a long fucking time. Our leaders know it, you know it, we all know it, and we've all stayed silent, and we've all tried to be good people, and we've all let the psychological warfare convince us that maybe we could be a little more tolerant, but the problem is they're not tolerant of us. And if you're that naive and that stupid to continue to give out tolerance to people because you have been convinced to feel bad or feel guilty, those people will kill you. If you don't think that this wasn't a fucking attack on free speech, you're insane. They're trying to tell every single person that if you speak out, we'll fucking kill you.
And that's been the mantra forever. And even now I was told that you crossed a line with this post. Sent a screenshot along with it with the teacher praising the shooter for having good aim. Yes, our educators are indoctrinators and they're radical. And we're calling it out. Not every one of them. Enough of them. They all need to be weeded out. And all these criminals are still walking and talking shit. Marion says, yes, quote of the day, question of the day. Yes, it feels so different. They took out one of the greatest and smartest minds of basic and good humanity. We are so lacking today. J.K. Rowling says, if you believe free speech is for you, but not your political opponents, you're illiberal. If no contrary evidence could change your beliefs, you're fundamentalist. If you believe the state should punish those with contrary views, you're a totalitarian. If you believe political opponents should be punished with violence or death, you're a terrorist. Student confronts classmates for laughing and celebrating Charlie Kirk being shot.
So Charlie Kirk was and they had a
Why are we cheering for someone getting shot? Like, no matter what political beliefs are, we should not be cheering that someone got shot. He has a family. We do. I value everyone's beliefs, but we should not be cheering as a class that someone got shot. He has a family. He has a family.
So, oh, this one gutted me today. This is the Blaze reporting Phoenix air traffic control radio after Charlie Kirk's casket landed on Air Force 2.
5 Phoenix 9, wind 2409, runway 26, to the line. Clear line 26, Southwest 1565.
Welcome home, Charlie. You didn't deserve it. May God bless your family.
Welcome home, Charlie. You didn't deserve it. May God bless your family. Candace Owens, good friend of Charlie Kirk.
We were really close, and he was my best friend and my brother, and I will never unsee the footage of what I saw, the violence of it. I pray for the people who took any pleasure in that. There's not a single person in the world that I would wish that on. And least of all, someone with a heart like Charlie's. He loved his family, he loved his wife, he loved his country. And he didn't deserve that ending. You know, he's really young. But I know that we will carry the torch. I will never allow the memory of Charlie to be forgotten, obviously, because there is no Candace without Charlie. You know, we came up in politics together. And so I don't know what else to say, guys, other than I'm in a lot of pain right now. And I love you, Charlie, and, you know, we were really close. And he was my best friend and my brother. And
yeah, they dehumanize people to the point where they don't even consider them to be humans with lives and families. I feel like there might be music here. Yeah, there's music. It's Charlie Kirk's wife. It's a whole thing. You can watch it. I just can't play it because of the music. Isabella Maria DeLuca says, if you're anti-gun, but you celebrate the murder of someone you despise, who was murdered in front of his wife and children, then you're not anti-gun. You don't hate guns. You hate us. And you'd rather see us dead than debate us. The Quartering says, I have been radicalized by the assassination of Charlie Kirk, starting immediately. I will be attending church weekly. I will make babies. I will get involved in local politics. I will get involved in national politics. I will use my platform to inspire others to do the same. Anybody else? Chanel Ryan, opening on One American News.
The wind, it's 1775. Again. In the words of John Steinbeck, it takes great courage to back truth unacceptable to our times. There's a punishment for it, and it's usually crucifixion. Today was a turning point for America, because one of America's most respected truthsayers was punished with his life. Crucifixion by bullet. A truthsayer was murdered before thousands in front of his wife and children because he stood for free speech, for civil discourse, for American culture and politics. He was a turning point, and we will never be the same. Charlie Kirk, the 31-year-old founder and CEO of Turning Point USA, a prominent conservative youth organization and close ally of President Donald Trump, was fatally shot. He was speaking at an event at Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah. The event was part of Turning Point USA's American Comeback Tour, an open-air debate-style gathering on campus. Kirk was addressing a crowd of students and supporters in a tented area on the university's quad when a single gunshot rang out. Charlie was shot in the neck. He collapsed immediately. He was rushed to a nearby hospital. There, a legend, a cultural icon, a husband and father of 2 young children died. We're not showing the video out of respect for the Kirk family, but now millions have seen it. Charlie had his whole life ahead of him. He died at such a young age that his children may well not have a living memory of their father. This is a reminder. This is a reminder of a much darker reality in America right now. A reality that we've known was bubbling under the surface of our present day culture. That the deranged enemy that Kirk and others fought was the kind of enemy who lacked the guts or the intellect or the fortitude to withstand any form of pushback to right their ways. We are living in a reality today in America where the enemy is too fragile to engage in civil discourse, but dangerous enough to kill anyone who challenges them. Tonight's show is dedicated to discussing what we know of this tragic event and what this means for the country at large. A few years ago, I recall being invited to a speaking event in Montana. Charlie and I shared a stage, and I had the opportunity to talk to him at length afterwards and to talk to his wife, Erica. It was clear then, as it was from the start, Charlie was a light. He was someone who could not be turned off or silenced or shut down. His courage was completely unmatched. But evil cannot abide by such lights. Today, evil decided he had to be silenced. Our mission from here is to ensure Charlie's light burns brighter than ever before, because this is a turning point. We're not going back from what happened today. Coming up, Congressman Rand.
We've entered a new era. The TMZ story.
Oh, I don't need TMZ's camera.
Oh, they've got music in the back. I can't play it. So they're saying TMZ lied. They were cheering at the news that Kirk had been assassinated. The car chase happened 36 minutes after this announcement. And you just, cheer at a car chase? Like, that's not even a thing. A Utah Valley University student says he contacted the FBI after spotting a male suspect on or near the Lassie Center roof twice in the weeks leading up to Charlie Kirk's shooting. The student noted that the man looked strikingly similar to images of the person of interest and added that a professor had also confronted the individual on the roof. Rolling Stone puts out, the MAGA right says Charlie Kirk is a martyr for freedom of expression, but still want people to lose their jobs for criticizing his rhetoric. The reply, no one wants anyone silenced or to lose their job for criticizing him. They are celebrating his death and calling for others to be next. You people are pathetic. Nick Shirley says, if you've ever been undecided politically, let today be the day that you decide. Notice there are no riots, no stores will be looted, no buildings will be set to flames. Instead, there will be gatherings full of people in prayer and candles in remembrance. Charlie kind of predicted this.
Visual and the idea of assassinating Donald Trump. This is where this is headed. I hope everyone understands, whether it be Julius Caesar, Abraham Lincoln, John F. Kennedy, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr., Bobby Kennedy. Assassinations of major political leaders are nothing new. And yet we've kind of been immune to that for a couple of decades. We have been warning about this for months. Now, the very interesting question is, will they try to kill Joe Biden or Donald Trump? That's the interesting question. Which one right now is a bigger threat to them?
And by the way, for the record, if you missed it, I do believe that the cabal that we've seen over the past couple decades are traitors to this nation. And I think there's a prescription, a penalty for traitors in this nation if you're found guilty with the proper evidence and the proper proceedings. No, not just to grab somebody and end them. There's a process to that. I've routinely prayed for Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and Barack Hussein Obama so that they would not be turned into martyrs. It's not a good idea. What is a good idea is defeating their bad ideas at the ballot box. I have repeatedly called and prayed for their safety.
And that I'll let the audience kind of ruminate on that question. But we've been warning about this for quite some months. This is why the next man up philosophy is so important and why we wanted to do the show with you, Steve, as a show of force, is that you take one out, 100 more appear. You take one out, 1,000 more appear. You take one out, 10,000 more appear. You take one out, we give more money. You take one out, we register more voters. You take one out, is that it only actually makes us stronger. You see, there are three different ways to analyze political movements or to categorize them. There are the fragile, the durable, and the anti-fragile. This is from Nassim Taleb, which is a phenomenal book. The fragile. The fragile is the Mitt Romney Republican Party. That is the Paul Ryan Republican Party. You say one bad word about them, they collapse, they bend a knee, they surrender, and they're relentlessly apologizing and they're spineless. Then there is the durable. The durable is the best of the conservative movement prior to Donald Trump. That would be the conservative movement that always held on and they put up a good fight, had some fortitude, but didn't quite have enough to be able to endure the grind or the slog of the activist regime media. And then there is the anti-fragile. I encourage everyone to read the book Anti-Fragile. In the book Anti-Fragile, Nassim Taleb argues that there are unique people, organizations, movements, restaurants, companies that actually get stronger the more pressure and opposition that is applied upon them. And when you find an anti-fragile movement, that their life force is actually what ends up being opposition. That is Donald Trump. Has anyone noticed that Donald Trump looks younger, stronger, more full of life and vitality after the indictments than before the indictments? It gives him purpose, reason of being. It gives him a telos, as the Greekers would say, or a teleological purpose for existence. This movement that we are part of right now, that historians will write about for the next 1,000 years. Let me say that again. This movement that you are part of will be written about for the next millennia. People do not remember the many movements from 400 or 500 years ago. Maybe a little bit here, English Revolution, whatever. This movement will be written about for 1,000 years. And when the history books are written, it will befuddle historians 600, 700, 800 years from now. Why is it that the people that had so much to lose, the Steve Bannons, the Peter Navarros, the Donald Trumps, they kept on doubling and tripling down because full of fortitude and that resolute spirit, we have the chance to influence the arc of history, as the left-winger Hegelians would always say. The arc of history always bends towards justice. How about this? The arc of history will bend back towards citizen-led government, not subjects, not slaves. And we will use this dark moment, the visual and the idea of assassinating Donald Trump. This is where this is headed.
I guess this was June 30th, and it was July 13th. That was 2 weeks, roughly 2 weeks before the attempt on Trump. I can say I've never listened to so much Charlie Kirk in my life before. Oh, this was the
Up to the mic. So now we know that you're like a blatant narcissist that needs attention at all times to cut in line. Tell us what's.
So the thought was that this guy looked like the guy from the picture that was released, someone that he met and debated. They identified someone, Sky Valdez, with a SoundCloud track. Deleted the location to leave me alone. But they have their subject in custody now. And that person is not named Sky Valdez. So know that. TPUSA released this beautiful video honoring Charlie Kirk, but I'm sure it has music. No, it has me. Like, I can't even mess with it. Too bad. General Mike Flynn says, if it is determined that a foreign power assassinated Charlie Kirk or was behind his assassination, there should be hell to pay. It is now being reported by the FBI that this is a possibility. If this is true, there will be most certainly other hit teams in CONUS, C-O-N-U-S, CONUS. I don't know what CONUS means. Who are focused on other targets. The White House needs to inform the American people ASAP what they know. Local law enforcement across the country better have already received a bolo. Be on the lookout with as many specific details as possible. Don't kid yourself. There is a war on in America, and everything and everyone we hold dear is at risk. This is the post that upset somebody I know. Something that needs to be pointed out is the same people you see celebrating the murder of an innocent human being on TikTok are the same people teaching your children in public schools. After many back and forth comments about it, it sort of landed on, oh, well, that's just one teacher. It's not all teachers. Okay, so if that's a little too ineloquently written, many of those people are teaching your children, indoctrinating your children, teaching them to have shame and guilt for who they are, to sit down and shut up and just regurgitate my radical, violent, leftist, Marxist talking points to get a good grade, or else you're going to get in trouble. You don't think that causes brain damage in kids that go out there and burn their own cities and target people to eliminate? Of course it does. Emotional tribute to Charlie Kirk with music that I can't play. Konstantin Kisin says, a great mentor once told me that the greatest insights usually come from noticing what's not there. You know what I notice? Never once since Charlie Kirk was assassinated have I worried about the possibility of riots, burning of cities, autonomous zones, or violence in the streets. And this is from a decent family man. This is for a decent family man that was murdered in cold blood for his political opinions. In the summer of 2020, all of those things happened across America and many other countries too, over a career criminal who died in a police interaction with a negligent and careless cop. You can call him a negligent and careless cop. The video looked atrocious. But I don't think most people watched the entire video. The entire interaction. The man was absolutely having some sort of event, a medical event, a panic attack, a heart attack, an overdose, something. The guy was having a very agitated reaction. And with that much fentanyl in the system, many have posited that that was an overdose. And when that knee ended up there, the guy was done. I think they had called for medical staff. I think they had called, or maybe they didn't call fast enough. And there's plenty of lessons to learn, but you could call it negligent or careless. But clearly, when the guy went unresponsive, there should have been a phone call at that point, a radio call to dispatch a ambulance. And at that point, cuff his legs together, get off of him. It didn't. I saw a guy that got arrested and then he wiggled out the other side of the cop car. Like, I don't think that cop was trying to abuse that man in any way. He was trying to arrest him. And after the freak out and then evading the arrest because he got out of the cop car, he escaped where he was placed there to go to get processed to face charges. And he escaped from the car and he was restrained. And it didn't look good and it looked bad. I hated it. And there's 20 positive lessons that should be gleaned from watching that tape and say, hey, in the future, if someone goes unresponsive like that, you get off of them immediately. You call for backup. You call for the medical team immediately. If you want to cuff his hands, to wrap some band around the bottom of the cop car, so even if he did get up, he's just restrained to that little area. You just stay away. Because you tried to arrest him and he got out of that. He escaped from that. Well, he didn't escape far, but he did. Anyway. We know what the Democrats did to that moment. We know what the Democrats did in that moment and how they weaponized it and tried to extrapolate that and turn everybody in MAGA into that person. That's who the other side is. They're hunting you. Go get them. You show them who's boss. Let's burn everything down. Let's steal everything. Let's loot. Let's plunder. Let's kill. Let's wound. Let's maim. That's what the Democrats did across 2020. Politicians kneeled, says Konstantin Kisin. Media organizations held minutes of silence and billions were given to BLM in the very days that their supporters burned down entire districts of American cities and killed people to fight racism. To this day, there has not been a shred of evidence presented that George Floyd's death had anything to do with racism. So no, I don't believe either party has a monopoly on political violence. We've seen left-wing politicians attacked and killed too. It's just as awful and just as wrong when that happens. I saw people saying, oh, well, maybe Charlie Kirk should have been more vocal about the killing of the Democrat in Minneapolis. I didn't see a single human celebrating that death. None. Zero, literally zero. I saw zero celebrations. And by the way, wasn't the claim from that person that Tim Walz wanted him to take out his competition or take out his opponents, his political opponents? Wasn't that the claim from the murderer, the alleged murderer? As that goes to trial, the guy that showed up in a fake mask and pretended to be a cop, a fake cop. I didn't see anybody cheering that on, happy that a leftist got taken out. The normal Americans want leftists to be taken out at the ballot box, which is why we're calling for paper ballots, same-day voting, no mail-in shenanigans, no voting machines. Just go vote in person, show your ID, get your ballots tabulated, tabulate everything under camera. You count and you double check. It's a Republican and a Democrat, and then you seal it, you vacuum seal it, you keep it in a box, you put it in a closet that's under 24/7 surveillance. And so is the facility where the data is shown off-site and recorded off-site. That's what you do if you want honest elections, because I don't think a lot of these places with Democrat government is really representing the people, and I don't think the people are really voting for these people in at the numbers that they're presenting. It just starts to become statistically highly unlikely that the same party would have exclusive access to be the mayor. I mean, pick your favorite blue-leaning city for 60 years, 70 years, 80 years, really. And you look around and it's junkies and criminals and human filth and gang graffiti and violence and abuse and theft and robberies, home invasions, just overdoses, just absolute atrocities of the human condition in so many of these Democrat-run cities. And how could they possibly keep voting for the party that's allowing this versus the person that comes in and power washes and cleans up? Someone that actually pretends to care about the community. I think it was Deion Sanders, not Neon Sanders. But yeah, that was his middle name, Neon, but spelled differently. Like John Coffey, only not spelt the same. So yeah, Konstantin Kisin says, no, I don't believe either party has a monopoly on political violence. We've seen left-wing politicians attacked and killed too. It's just as awful and just as wrong. But I also think it's worth noticing what's not there and thinking about why. Jake Maverick says, the way the mainstream media from CNN to BBC dehumanized Charlie Kirk as he was shot and murdered is all you need to know about the way the media operates. Trump ally Charlie Kirk shot at Utah Valley. Trump ally. That's okay. Trump ally. They're actually they all appear to be using that same phrase and leading with it. Donald Trump ally. To make people go, good, you got one. Like it's a score. Got one. All the headlines just state Trump ally, despite Charlie being much more than that. He was the co-founder of Turning Point, a great debater, and known for trying to bring dialogue to taboo and often controversial topics. Why did they choose that headline specifically? Well, the media have already spent a decade demonizing Trump, so when the headlines read like that, so when the headlines read that an ally of a supposed demon has been killed, it's a framing of association to who they have got people to hate for years. The mainstream, we'll call them the lying legacy media, is the exact reason there's so much divide across the Western world. And Charlie Kirk should be known for far more than being a Trump ally. He was a husband, a father, a free speech absolutist that brought controversy to the forefront of open debate.
My high school kids talked about Charlie Kirk all morning. Positive conversations about Charlie Kirk all morning. They're impacted. They're mad. But passionate, compassion all morning. These kids are smart. These kids are smart. He touched them. They knew who he was. He made an impact on their lives. They talked about his debates. They talked about his topics. Smart kids. This impacted them. These high school kids, they know. They know.
They're never going to forget. Yeah, so Alec Bruskowitz and Robbie Starbuck added 25 grand to the FBI's $100,000 reward for information leading to the capture of Charlie Kirk's assassin, now at $150,000. Bill Ackman's in for $1 million. So now the question is, does the father get to collect because he allegedly turned in the son? And then he'd use that $1.15 million to provide the legal defense for his son. Very interesting. This is from Joan of Judea. Democrats, there is no far left. We need to be honest about who you've become and what you represent. Your party is so mentally sick and unhinged that you have unleashed poison onto our streets and into our classrooms. You celebrate Charlie's death. You murdered the one man who was willing to talk to you. The one man who had enough patience, love, and brains to sit there for hours and listen to your garbage. That's a pretty good one. Very telling. Oakland business owners have had enough.
Dead, and the 3 who survived are facing murder charges. 1 employee was wounded in the gun battle.
Now, this comes on the heels of a bloody weekend in Oakland, really, with a number of deadly shootings.
Employees at Eddie Cash for Gold in East Oakland armed and fed up. On Wednesday night, shortly after they closed up shop at 7:30 here on International Boulevard, Oakland police say a group of masked men, some armed, tried to rob them.
5 suspects entered the business and began to assault the employees inside.
That's when a gun battle began. 1 employee injured, 2 of the suspects dead, 3 injured. The surviving suspects now being charged with attempted robbery and even murder.
We believe that their compatriots are thereby responsible for those deaths and therefore were booked on homicide charges.
Just hours before, video showing a smash and grab robbery attempt at this jewelry store in Milpitas.
Gotta be prepared. Go outside with your shoes on.
Someone inside this store also opened fire as the suspects ran off. Oakland police aren't sure if the 2 are connected, but they know business owners are frustrated and frightened.
Well, I don't want anyone to think that we're in a place to where we want our community to become vigilantes. That's not what we're looking for here.
Police revealing the suspects were all from Stockton. Mayor Barbara Lee telling ABC 7 News in part, quote, "While this tragic event highlights the broader regional challenges we face, it also underscores our commitment to protecting Oakland's residents, workers, and business owners who deserve to be safe and feel safe in their own community." Police here also addressing the other shootings from just over the weekend that left 2 dead.
We continue to review evidence,
but say overall, violent crime is down in Oakland.
And you're going to have these incidents that we've experienced over the last couple of weeks. But when you look at it collectively over the last 18 months, almost 2 years, you're looking at double-digit reductions in violent crime across the city.
In Oakland, Francis Wang, ABC.
Yeah, maybe a little too late. Oakland has lost all their sports teams. In-N-Out Burger. By the way, let me mention something to you real quick. We're so close, everybody. Pennies in the wishing well. We need to get to 3,000 hours, public hours watched. Each penny in the wishing well is 1 hour of content watched. If you've never, because a lot of you are sort of new to the program. Like you found us over the past year, but you don't know anything about the 14 years we've done. We have a lot of shows out there. Some of it's still relevant. Interesting. But our YouTube channel, we are just, how many pennies in the wishing well away are we? We are 115 public hour, we are 115 valid public watch hours away from applying for eligibility to get into the super chat and the subscription donation function on YouTube again. That's been taken from us, our ability to earn a living on that platform for years and years. I can't even ponder how many thousands of dollars that's cost us. So maybe they'll come up with another stunt once we reach that. Maybe we can apply, or they'll never accept it, or the button will never allow me to apply. And maybe that's just my lot in life. Maybe just Google is going to Google its way. Or maybe we're actually going to believe in free speech in this country again and get our show back up there and try to allow super chats and subscriptions to help us pay the bills. So the YouTube channel, The New American Media, is up there. Please help me get 115 extra hours immediately. There's 11 of us in the chat right now, or at least on this. There's at least 11. I'm not seeing all the stats in front of me. On this one metric, I'm seeing 11. If everybody put in 10 hours, played 10 hours of content, we should theoretically cross that barrier tomorrow. 10 hours. A few shows. Put one level of volume up just so it counts as an actual hour watched. Or when you're out mowing the lawn, listen to an older show. 115 hours. If we all did 10 hours, we got it, and we're done, and then we can go for the next milestone. Yes. Permission to speak freely? Permission denied, said YouTube. But we got a chance again to try to reset that. So please watch as many hours as you can this weekend. Binge it. The New American Media on YouTube. All right, Drew Pavlu says, I will explain to you why the killing of Charlie Kirk pushes me to the right. We had the exact same views as my Trump-supporting parent. I'm sorry, he had the same exact views as my Trump-supporting parents who I love. He had the exact same views as half my extended family, just regular boomer conservatism. And thousands of leftists celebrate him being shot in the neck and bleeding out in front of his 3-year-old daughter. If they want that for Charlie Kirk, they want that for my parents and my other loved ones. And I won't stand for it, because I'm not a suicidal, spiteful mutant with hatred for my own family, my own parents, and my own civilization. I love the people who raised me, and I'm loyal to them, and I won't ally myself with people who want to murder them just because they have old-fashioned values that were completely common throughout 99% of modern history: a love of faith, family, church, and nation. That is so well said. The incorruptible Mama Bear says, conservatives say that guns are for hunting sports and home defense, because that's what we conservatives say that guns are for hunting sports and home. Oh my God, third time's I'm okay. Conservatives say that guns are for hunting, sports, and home defense, because that's what we use them for. Liberals say guns are for killing people, because that's what they use them for. We are not the same. Charlie Kirk was murdered. Instead of burning down buildings, rioting, and throwing rocks at cars, the right is posting scriptures, prayers, and worship songs and praying for peace and healing. The left is gloating and mocking. We are not the same. We are not the same. Button. Yeah, we noticed yesterday while doing the show, it dawned upon me, when leftists say things like karma, they mean it as a threat to end you on earth. When normal people say karma, they mean good luck in your eternal hell in the afterlife. We are not the same. That was a powerful realization I had yesterday, and I need to expand on that. Definitely have to expand on that. Okay, let me ask if this happened. Did the Packers hold a moment of silence? Charlie Kirk. Yes, this did occur. Good. Class act. Thank you, Green Bay Packers. Take a look.
National Football League asks that you please join us in a moment of silent reflection following the murder of Charlie Kirk. The NFL condemns all violence in our communities. It will take all of us to stop hate. Thank you.
Well, bravo, Packers. Because I had voiced many complaints over the years that the NFL, Major League Baseball, they were all just pushing a radical anti-white agenda with their whole Stop Racism campaign, acting like there's only one type of problem in the country, and it's always MAGA, it's always Republicans, it's always conservatives, it's always men, it's always white people, it's all like Kaepernick was using wildly inaccurate information being amplified by Nike and Disney, ABC, ESPN. This might be the first time I've seen a professional sports message to stand up to somebody, stand up for somebody on the right. It seemed like everything else was a thinly veiled attack on the right. I don't think I'm reading too much into that. It seemed fairly obvious. We said, is this real? Turned out it is, at least according to Grok. I didn't see it live, but they said, I said, is the NFL realizing that their divisive campaigns against hate are exactly what led us here? That's the next level conversation.
This is how the incoming president of the Oxford Union responded to the news that Charlie Kirk had been shot at.
This is, who's this? Dobbs and Policy? Chloe Dobbs?
An event in Utah yesterday. He said on the committee WhatsApp chat, Charlie Kirk got shot, let's fucking go. And this is the man who is about to be the president of the prestigious Oxford Union Debating Society, which, to use its own words, is the last bastion of free speech. It's been around since 1823 and has a fantastic long-standing reputation and commitment to free speech to uphold. They are committed to giving a voice to people with contentious opinions rather than wishing for them to be shot dead. Do you really think that this man is fit to be the president of this society? This is the man in question. This is George. He is the president-elect of the Oxford Union, and come January, he will be the man running the show. I have a few concerns, it is fair to say. And he didn't just stop at WhatsApp, he took to Instagram, to all his Instagram followers as well, and said, Charlie Kirk got shot, lol. Just laughing about it, as if human lives are a laughing matter. This is how the...
I saw this and was kind of surprised by this, so let's let him cook. David Harris Jr. shared this. 4X DJ official.
Wait, don't scroll. Do you have 1 minute for God? We're in September with Matthew's day 10, and we're going to be going over chapter 10 in Matthew's. But before we get into chapter 10, I want to say sorry to Charlie Kirk's family for their loss, because Charlie was a good man. I used to watch his videos, and he used to just preach the gospel and tell the truth about Jesus Christ. And I'm so sorry for their loss. And I hope the Lord can protect them through the times that they're going through. Now let's get into chapter 10. We're going to be going over verse 22. Matthew chapter 10, verse 22. You will be hated by everyone because of me, but the one who stands firm to the end will be saved. Jesus is telling us we will not have an easy route following him. As we follow Jesus, we're going to be going through obstacles, tests, trials, hard times, losing faith, high in faith, low in faith. It's just going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. But if you endure to the end, you will be saved. Hope you guys have a nice day. Rest in peace to Charlie Kirk.
certain moments, certain videos bring emotion on you. Like, oh, wow. That was one. Here's Lisa Schmidt, a sustainability and climate senior advisor at NASDAQ, which basically means she's useless, posting, rest in piss. That's what she has to say about Charlie. Have fun on your trip, Lisa, and not having a job when you get back. Interrupting the Euro trip content to say, fuck Charlie Kirk, rest in piss. That's your reaction? I played you this. Lisa Greenlee. Oh, actually, I need to double check. Has she been fired? Lisa Greenlee. Has Lisa Greenlee been fired yet? Should be an easy answer. Grok is thinking. Finding it. Yes, part-time instructor at Guilford Technical, Greensboro, North Carolina, fired September 12. College confirmed her termination following an internal investigation into a video that surfaced showing her praising the shooter who assassinated Charlie Kirk, stating, "I'll praise the shooter. He had good aim." No longer employed by the college. Decision came after widespread public backlash, including calls from parents and social media users demanding her dismissal.
This exact same time last year,
This is Voice of Change. What's her name? Mariah? Is that a way to spell Mariah? Mariah Roden.
I was pregnant with my second child, volunteering at one of Charlie's events. And I am so beyond sick to my stomach thinking that his fucking blood spatter could have been on my t-shirt. This is the turning point. And what needs to happen now is a total, full and complete drain of the fucking swamp. Every reporter, every journalist, every mayor, every senator, every representative of Congress who has promoted violence against us needs to be held accountable. And I will not stop. I will call every single one of you out by name until you lose your job and you lose everything that you own. This exact same time last year, I was pregnant with my second child, volunteering at one of Charlie's
Did it
events.
just reset?
And I am so...
Yes, it just reset. Man, that is so smooth. You can't even notice it. Has that lady been fired? Yeah, she should be fired. Out of a cannon, says Kenneth. Like I said, we're preaching peace. It's just a simple word joke, people. Oh, it moved me to a bigger house. Uh-oh. Did I say the quiet part loud and the loud part quiet? That's a Krusty the Clown Simpsons joke. Oh, it moved me to a bigger house. Oh, wait. Oh, I hope you know the episode I'm talking about. If not, go find it.
At the
Oh, I think I'm hearing piano music.
core of...
Yeah. Human Events Live. And Jack Posobiec posted this. I got to read it since there's music. At the core of the left, at the core of a liberal, is someone that would use the sword if they had it. They are very violent people at their core. They always have been. They can't debate. They can't have a conversation. So they'll resort to these tactics. They're going to do everything they possibly can to try and murder this movement because they can't beat us. So they're going to try to take weapons. And no, we're very aware of that. I'm aware of that. You have full-time security. This is not a joke. This is who these people are. Jack Posobiec. When America needed a hero, God sent us Charlie Kirk. Vince Dow is reporting Germans gathered at the U.S. Embassy in Berlin to hold a candlelight vigil for Charlie Kirk. The event was described by locals as spontaneous and not pre-planned. A political earthquake has occurred across the West. Spotted outside the U.S. Embassy in Rome, the sign honors Charlie Kirk as a martyr for freedom. There is a worldwide awakening. Madrid, Spain, Spanish patriots placed candles outside the U.S. Embassy to honor Charlie Kirk. This isn't just an American awakening. It's a global awakening. Leftists have no clue what they've started. South Africans held a massive vigil for Charlie Kirk at the U.S. Embassy in Pretoria. Global awakening. Thank you, patriots. Pictures. And gatherings. And candles. And prayers. Yeah, the shot heard round the world indeed. Charlie Kirk on campus.
Here. True Christians love everyone. Would you say you believe in this sign?
Yes, but define love.
Define love? It's a respect. You respect someone enough to not judge them, to not hate them for what they're doing, no matter what it is.
Do you lie to people you love?
Do I lie to people I love? Not often enough. And I don't lie about...
Should we, in the ideal, when you love somebody, should you lie to them?
Depends on the lie. So, let me give an example here. Say, do you have a sibling? Say you have a sibling and they have a dress on and it is just ugly, the ugliest thing you've ever seen. Are you going to tell them that dress is ugly, you need to change it, you horrible person?
Yes. In fact, I'll do it in a way that is filled with love, but I love my sister so much that if I feel if she's going to leave the house and be made fun of, I won't let her do that, because that's what love is all about. You see, love is not...
Are you going to make her feel ugly saying that?
Well, no, in fact...
How would you say it to make them not feel ugly?
I would say, listen, I care a lot about you. I think that maybe you should change that outfit, or let's see what other outfits you might have.
What if she's like, no, I spent a lot on this, I'm really proud, I think this looks great. Are you going to say that what she thinks look great doesn't look great to you?
I would say, look, you can obviously wear whatever you want, but I want to caution you that if you wear that dress out in public, it might not be received the way you think it would be received. I would be remiss not to say that if I actually loved my sister. I'd be remiss, because love is not affirmation. Love is not confirmation. Love is making sure that you care so much about the other that you're willing to challenge and point out flaws when you see them and have the courage to articulate it. That's what love is, as embodied by Christ our Lord. Because you have true love right there.
So what faith do you practice then? Because you say Christianity, do you have a specific sect?
It's like evangelical, basically.
This is over then.
That was the middle of a conversation.
Where did Bob Ross go? I hope he accepts Jesus in his heart.
I have a...
Yeah, I had someone describe Charlie Kirk and talking about that. He was essentially just like a preacher. You want to boil it down, I mean, yeah, it's political, but it's really just a biblical interpretation of how he's choosing to live his life and the beliefs and values that he has, and then trying to make sense of the world and plan accordingly. It's like I never thought of him as a preacher, but the more I listened to it, because I had never really, we've all seen a couple of clips here and there, but I don't know, I never binged the content like a lot of the elementary school, middle school, high school kids have been doing. Yeah, the more I listen to it, it's very, very religious. And I know that's always a key theme that weaves its way in and out, but I didn't know it was so heavily focused in that area. And now we're all watching more videos, so congratulations. More people are watching Charlie Kirk now than they ever have before. Actually, I'll type that. Congratulations. Deep state. Humanity is now watching more Charlie Kirk videos than ever before. Callie Fontanilla says, those of us who were teens before 2005, here's something to think about. You have teachers telling you that being colorblind is racist, and that if your skin color is white, you are automatically a racist oppressor. If your skin color is black, you are a victim, and everywhere you go, you will be persecuted for your race. The majority of your time is spent scrolling on tiny, bright, addictive screens, short 30-second videos confirming every bias, every delusion, while truth is constantly suppressed and censored. Toss in some soft and hardcore porn, since you've been watching that since age 8, with your sex education class reassuring you that it's normal and healthy. Your friends identify as trans, two-spirit, non-binary, gender fluid, they, them, z's, them, every other letter of the alphabet. Medical doctors tell parents that if they do not affirm their gender delusions, their child will die. One of your female friends just had healthy breasts cut off, convinced that she is a boy. Now she can dance topless on TikTok with bloody drain tubes hanging from her chest. You've been on strong big pharma psychotropic meds since you were 7 because your teacher did not like that you could not sit still. You've had over 30 vaccine shots with chemicals no one can pronounce. Your reading level hovers around 5th grade, but with your standards lowered, it's closer to 3rd. You cannot read the original founding documents of this country because they're written in cursive. For 2 years, the whole country shut down, and you were told that if you dared breathe without a mask or step outside of your house, you would kill old people. You were isolated from friends. You were told you could not hug your grandma or even see her. Trusted adults, the mainstream media, professors, teachers, celebrities, rappers, and pop stars told you that the president and all his followers were Nazis and fascists who wanted to throw black and brown people into concentration camps. You believed it because you never heard the stories of that same president releasing black people from prison or funding research into why more black women die during childbirth. No, all you heard was that he was snatching innocent brown people from the streets, and they even said that he will feed them to alligators. The music you listen to is not positive, creative, or even good. Female pop stars drone on about depression, witchcraft, or failed relationships, usually performing without pants. Rappers mumble in monotone about licking buttholes and popping pills, while the deep ones claim that they are oppressed in $6,000 designer jeans. Testosterone levels have collapsed, so every classroom has girly boys tapping fake nails on phones, spending more time on makeup than prom queens. And of course, you never have been spanked. Gentle parenting rules the day. No wonder Gen Z is full of raging lunatics celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. Lord have mercy. That's Callie Fontanilla. Glancing at her, she appears to be a black girl. By the way, if you care for such things. I generally care most about the message, not super interested in the rest.
It's not about the cell. It's not about.
There's music here. I'll let it go. But here's top Charlie Kirk debate moments. Has music. Can't play it. Oh, Nick Freitas. Oh, boy. Here's another tough one.
But the first thing I want to do, and as a husband and father, forgive me because I'm gonna try to get through it as best I can. To Erica Kirk, there was a debt that I think a lot of us felt like we owed to Charlie because of the way he lived his life and because of how hard he fought for the things that he believed in. And I just want you to know that debt transfers to you. Anything your family requires, I think there's a lot of us that would be there very quickly should you need it. To Charlie's children, as a father, I want you to know that one of the things that impressed me most about your dad was when he was asked very recently,
I'm just having to say it past tense,
what he wanted to be remembered for. It was the courage of his faith. Nothing of all the accolades or earthly titles that your father received and deserved. None of them gave him as much joy as being a husband to your mother and a father to you guys. It was just evident So I'll always remember him as a man that had the courage of his faith. What I would want you to know about your dad, and I know you're going to have a lot of people that will be more than happy to tell you about him, was that for me, he represented how well a life can be lived when you are more concerned about what God says to you when you arrive than what man says about you when you're gone. And I have no doubt that he heard, "Well done, good and faithful servant," which for all of us is the greatest compliment, the greatest accolade anyone could ever receive. It is one of the incredible things about the Christian faith where we recognize our sin and our dependency upon God. We recognize that he gives us the ability to be a part of something beautiful. And that when we embrace that, we have the opportunity to hear those words when we see them. And I have no doubt that you will get to see your dad again under much happier circumstances. In the meantime, the rest of us have a lot of work to do and a lot to live up to. But I want you to know that your father was very loved, very respected, and that love and that respect and that care and that concern also transfers to you and your mother. But the first thing I want to do, and as a husband and father,
yeah, most of the people that met him liked him. Kristen Sokolov is mentioning that those who constantly called for violence are now pretending to rebuke others.
Can we get your reaction to President Trump blaming the radical left for what happened to Charlie Kirk yesterday?
Well, look, the bottom line is this is a time that all Americans should come together and feel and mourn what happened. Violence, which affects so many different people of so many different political persuasions, is an affliction of America. And coming together is what we ought to be doing, not pointing fingers of blame.
This moment requires leadership that brings the American people together as opposed to trying to further divide us. Political violence in any...
That's what the divide, to further divide us. Taking out one of the biggest names on the right was an attempt to destroy the political right, to deepen the divide between normal America and whatever the Democrats have devolved into.
Form against any American is unacceptable, should be denounced by everyone, and moving forward, we have to figure out a better way to come together, not as Democrats or Republicans, but as Americans.
My question is so you're obviously a professional political pundit. You've had years of training, you have all this money worth of resources behind you. You have a PR team, you got security here. So why do you as a professional pundit think it's fair to come to college campuses and debate college freshmen? Doesn't that seem kind of unfair to you?
Well, hold on. I mean, let's stop talking down to college kids. I'm talking to voters, right? This audience will determine the future of America.
That's so good. That's such a great response there. Because Charlie Kirk has been mocked, and Ben Shapiro. If you want to get 15% off, type in code Ben. Ben Shapiro is me just using a line from Tyler Fisher's impersonation. To all the people out there watching, the TNAM trash pandas out there, watching the Charlie Kirk news and going through all of the things that we are suffering through today, having a hard time falling to sleep at night, I would recommend that you check out the Sleep Number mattress. You can get 15% off if you use promo code Ben to get better night's sleep while you deal with the tragic loss of Charlie Kirk. Now, back to the news. And scene. A couple of laughs, a couple of laughs, a couple of laughs. Gotta push it. Gotta force it. But I like Charlie Kirk's answer here a lot. Because he and Ben Shapiro were often made fun of, like, oh yeah, it's so tough. You go to college and you it's hard making college kids look stupid. Like, why don't you take on someone your own size? Pick on someone your own size. Oh yeah, you get a lot out of going to college campuses. Yeah, you're changing the brains away from the ones who are trying to groom them, manipulate them, brainwash them. But yeah, Marion's eyes leaking again. It's like just when you think you're cried out. Nick, Candace, like everybody that knew him. Like I said, distant cousin I met at a family reunion many years ago once. I had a good impression of the guy. I generally thought highly of him, but nothing like the people that knew him very well. And my God, his family was there. But the answer to why are you picking on college kids? He's like, your voting age. You're going to determine the election. You need to know what you support. So let's talk about it. And they feared his talking about it so much, they butchered him. They ended him. Hang on, what is this? Oh, yeah. There's a story, an ICE agent was run over by an ICE agent was targeted as someone attempted to drive into the agents. The ICE agent shot and ended a man in Franklin Park, Illinois. There's a big car crash into a truck, it looks like. They've arrested the guy. Less lethal. Hang on, what is this here? Here, let me share this. We'll just tell you what's going on, because who knows if this will be a flashpoint. I'll get right back to that. But you know the left, they're just waiting for their excuse so they can do what they always do: chaos, violence, domestic terrorism. If you try to run over an ICE agent, I don't think that could go any other way. What is this? Less lethal rounds. Pepper balls, I heard, were fired by several SRT officers as demonstrators confronted another car leaving Broadview ICE facility in Illinois. We learned about the Franklin Park shooting during this time at 12:33 p.m.
Action may include the use of chemicals or less lethal munitions, which could cause a significant risk of serious injury to those who remain. Disperse from this area by walking north on Beach Street.
Yeah, you're not being peaceful. If you're blocking someone's freedom to come and go, you become a terrorist who's demanding your way or the highway. That's not protest. That's an illegal act. Someone yelled "Viva Mexico" in Chicago, in America. For what? Palestinian flag, headscarf, Viva la Mexico. Look at this. Their facility has to have all of their windows boarded up. Well, that's an operational nightmare. Yep, less lethal rounds. They're talking some cigarettes. I don't know if we have any video of the attack. Suspect fatally shot after dragging an ICE officer with a vehicle. The man tried to flee a traffic stop and struck the officer with his vehicle Friday. Do you think the shooter, Tyler Robinson, acted alone? I mean, the way that one or two people got involved and the guy that looked like he was fake confessing to give him time to get away, it sounds or seems like there were more than one person involved. I don't know. Back to Charlie Kirk. I just wanted to share that with you because any one of these events could be the thing that turns into Summer of Love 2025. The Democrats are just, they need something to try to rally around. They are a completely lost and broken party, a broken people. Led astray by leadership that just doesn't get it. Anyway, Charlie Kirk, often maligned for preaching to college kids. And he's like, you guys get to vote. It matters. That's why we're here. That's why we're talking. Like, if you guys are going to try to say you want to vote for the Democrats, well, explain your position. Defend your positions. Let's make sense of it. Let's go. I'll tell you why I'm voting the way I'm voting. That's what colleges are supposed to. They're supposed to be places where you could have philosophical debates and sharpen your intellectual acumen by having tough conversations. But on the left, they want safe spaces and like just yelling at you, shutting you down if you say something that disagrees with the thing they just changed yesterday. Marion thinks there's others involved. No clue why I think that. I mean, the guy that said, I have the right to remain silent, like, what the hell was that? The other guy that stood up and cheered and looked back. I mean, potentialities. That person better be interviewed. But anyway, Charlie Kirk saying, you guys are voting, so let's talk about voting.
As you could see with my first dialogue, I'm not here to be adversarial. We disagreed. I let him have his points in.
And you know what? That's what I've always tried to do here at the New American Media and the Agree to Disagree show. It's literally called the Agree to Disagree show. It's all right. We can have other opinions. We don't get violence. Like, that's a non-starter. More conversation, not less. And as long as you keep a mostly peaceful conversation. When I say the New American Media, seeking truth, challenging dogma, and having fun. Join us in the mostly civil conversation. And if you remain mostly civil, you're more than welcome to be here, and we can sharpen our intellectual acumen together. You've called me a teacher or a professor before. Fine. Maybe I'm doing a modern history class because we're writing history each day with how we consume it, understand it, and report it. Record it and report it. Yeah, come on in. I'm the bartender. That's my bar. We're just talking about the stuff that's on the news. Everybody's got their own opinions, sharing them.
And as far
Charlie's like, I'm not here to be adversarial. I'm here to talk to you. And if you have different opinions, you get your say as well. Like, go ahead. You know, keep it pithy. Like, we got a lot of people that want to get some opinions in, so try to keep it focused and concise. And if I want to keep drilling down and dragging it out, then we can drag it out and have more layers of conversation here. But, you know, make your point. Let's move along. And that's the way it's supposed to be.
As far as the fair standpoint, I have no notes. You can go bring a professor. Why don't you go bring a professor and bring him up to the mic?
Okay.
Why don't you go find 5 professors that have PhDs? I didn't go to college. That's a fair fight, right? By the way, you guys are in college. I graduated high school.
Okay. I mean, like,
yeah, so there, it's like you have extra education, so it should be easy to beat me, right?
you come here, you say, this is not adversarial, but, I mean, on the text message you sent out, it says, come to the debate. You have this sign that says, prove me wrong. It seems like you like, want this, like, debate to happen so you can put it on YouTube and upload a clip of you dunking on the libs or whatever, dude.
Then play defense. Use ideas. Use your words. You don't get to clothesline the player just because they're going up for a dunk. Play better defense and you wouldn't have to clothesline him. Kneecap him. Headshot him.
It seems like a grift is what it seems like to me.
Okay, but hold on a second. Don't you agree that more speech, not less speech, is better for a free society?
Sure, I agree with that. Yeah, but I would agree that like on this basis, it just seems like it's like disparate levels of like resources. You know what I mean? It doesn't.
Well, no, like he just said, bring 5 PhDs if you want. That's fine. Plus, you're in college. I never went to college, so you've got more education than me. You should have a easier time defeating me. So I don't know that it's unfair at all.
To me, it seems like kind of disingenuous in you coming here because it seems like you don't really like want to have this debate. You just want to like dunk on people, bro.
Well, let me say. I mean, so you're trying to play into my intentions, though. So why am I here? I'm here to support our Turning Point chapter. I'm here to help Tim Sheehy to defeat John Tester, as I said, which there's a lot of support for that. And we're going to have dialogue and disagreement. And yes, I've been doing this for quite a while, but you could also go phone a friend. Go bring 10 libs. You can all have your phones, and you could debate me, and I'll have no notes, and we'll see who wins. In fact, I just debated 25 college kids by myself, and actually went pretty well. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what your point is here. This is a free speech event. You could bring whoever you want. And also, you don't have to come up to the mic.
I was just asking you, dude. Like,
yeah, and that's it. So if there's a point of disagreement, we can do that. But last thing I'll say is this, is don't think so low of college kids. You might, I don't.
And don't think so low of people who haven't been to college, who don't have advanced degrees, because like I've pointed out, there's that people-pleasing energy from someone that keeps getting degrees and keeps getting schooling, because replace education with indoctrination. The deeper you go, the more likely you're trying to please the teacher and repeating what they're telling you. And our schools have been absolutely infiltrated by radicals on the left, pushing things that are antithetical to our nation, to our society, to common sense, to reality, to finance, to self-defense, to everything you could imagine. It's almost like what they say about Trump derangement syndrome. The left, the opposition to normal Americans, most Americans, 80-20 issues, the left will automatically take a knee-jerk anti-Trump reaction just because they think they have to oppose Trump because everything about him is bad. That's not a philosophy. That's not an idea. That's not a guiding light. That's not a moral compass to follow. That's really flawed thinking. It's dangerous thinking. And it leads to letting someone out 14 times whose parents were saying, this guy's a menace. Please keep him. Commit him. And you let him out and you see what happened to Iryna Zarutska. Say her name. Type her name. Iryna Zarutska. Iryna Zarutska. Bad ideas, bad policies, bad decisions lead to bad outcomes. You just look at the top 50, top 100 issues that the modern 2025 Democrat Party is pushing, promoting, advocating, really hammering home, and ask how many of these are helpful and how many of these are not. John answered a question. This is good. He's talking about, were there other people? Question of the day. John, I did check your email, by the way. He said there had to be other people. It makes me wonder about his rifle. Did he throw it down to his roommate that drove him there? Hang on. Do we know that his roommate drove him there? I've obviously been broadcasting, so I don't have the current whatever's happening in front of me. Yeah, I don't know if there was a roommate, but the reason it looks like nothing was carried down from the rooftop, maybe he threw something off. But then, yeah, like, does it get disassembled and then it gets put back together? I don't know. Marion, by the way, thanks for the bar backdrop. Isn't this a great backdrop? This is what I've wanted. This feels right. You know, days like a couple of days ago. Do you just call me a dago? No. Yeah, a couple days ago. Do you just call me a dago? How'd your day go? Did you just call me a dago? That was a literal conversation I had working at the world's largest talent agency. Got off at the second floor, or somebody came in to that, like, hey, how'd your day go? You just call me a dago? And I went, oh my God, I'm gonna get in trouble. No, I did. He's like, I'm just kidding. I'm like, that was funny. I'm gonna use it. That dude has no idea that I've said that 1 trillion times in my head, and I've said that out loud thousands of times. Anyway, this is probably the backdrop that you're used to seeing me in. Maybe if I wear the suit and tie, and I'm capable of doing it, wearing a suit and tie. I actually did the day Charlie Kirk was shot. I threw the jacket on. I don't know why. I don't normally. And I wore blue with black. They say you're not supposed to do that. What was that song? Blue on black. Is that Kenny Wayne Shepherd or the other guy? Who sang Blue on Black? Was that Kenny Wayne Shepherd or was it the other guy? Johnny Lang or wasn't there a third one? Not John Mayer. Blue on Black, the song. But anyway. Oh, yeah. I don't know. This is my backdrop for the Cleveland Browns. Excuse me, for the Ohio State Buckeyes. We did a live stream. Haven't really used these much. But yeah, I like the sports bar. This shows me at a table. I'm not quite the bartender behind, but like you get the point. Say you're in my bar and I walk out and I come over to the table and take care of your stuff and whatever. And we're talking about the things on the TVs. This is like what created me. If only it was 5 o'clock, I'd partake. Yes, Kenny Wayne Shepherd, good. So anyway.
This audience will determine the future of Western civilization. And this audience might be drafted into a world war. This audience is being used as pawns by people like John Tester and Kamala Harris to put their radical agenda. It's time that we start talking to the next generation, not talking down to the next generation. And that's what we're doing.
My question.
There you go. That's pretty respectful. All right. I think that's where I'm going to tap out for here. It's been a long week, people. I intend on being here in the morning. However, there may be a 50-50 on tomorrow at noon. Okay. Maybe I'll go earlier. That might be possible. Just got to kind of see how the schedule shakes out. There's a couple things. So tomorrow's a coin toss. If you don't see me, no worries. If you would be so kind as to watch some YouTube videos for the New American Media over the past 14 years, 2,000 videos, that would be helpful because we're only 115 pennies in the wishing well away from applying for remonetization, at least of partial remonetization on YouTube, which would be very helpful because there's always expenses for what we do and there's always the opportunity cost. You know, every hour that I'm not head down working on a career, earning a paycheck, building up the retirement, it's another hour that I can't fund the other bills that are coming in. So to all of our Patreon sponsors out there, let me put the links up on the screen. We're on Patreon at the New American Media. Thank you to everyone who signed up and everyone who will sign up either today or tomorrow or in perpetuity. We do have a tip jar at this bar. We have 3 of them. Well, 4 of them. Patreon is one. We have Venmo and Cash App. It's just my name, BrianEngelman, ENGELMAN, scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Then we also have PayPal, fuzzinstallment@yahoo.com. Scrolling at the bottom of the screen. So, 115 manpower hours to go. And then we can get some remonetization. At least we can apply for super chats and subscriptions, which would open up the door to a 5th tip jar, which we want. Of course, if you watch on Rumble, letting the advertisements play for 2 minutes before the show or during the show, if you let those play, that's actually putting literal pennies into our wishing well. We get daily commissions over there, daily advertising revenue. If you watch our stuff on YouTube, on Rumble, even just go to Rumble to let the ad play and then get rid of it and then watch the rest on YouTube. Like, it all helps. It's literal pennies in the wishing well. Few people doing that a few times, and guess what? That's $1. A few more people, that's a couple bucks. Do that a few more, it's a couple $100. Like, it all starts to add up. But we are trying to grow as fast as possible and spread. You know, it's an ongoing conversation. It's a college lecture. It's a debate room. It's a philosophy room. It's a course in trying to decipher information. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff we could tell you about the shooter, but like, what are we supposed to say at this stage? President Trump announced it. Look, I was going to go, but I want to show you this one for all the skeptics out there. Because something about this doesn't quite add up. And I'll end it on this. Let me switch the screen. All right, so Michael Savage nails the insane absurdity of the FBI's Charlie Kirk assassination narrative. All right? So they think they have a guy, Tyler Robinson. Okay. Trending with not a Democrat, whatever that means. Okay. We got a lot to unpack. Michael Savage has thoughts.
Something's wrong. I know I shouldn't do this. I'm risking an awful lot to go up against this FBI, the MAGA FBI. Something's very wrong with what I just heard. I mean, I watched it. I was hoping that they had caught the bastard who shot Charlie. So we saw a video of a person jumping off the roof. It looked very legitimate to me. However, there was no rifle in his hand. Now, the Mauser does not break down very easily, incidentally, for those of you who know weapons. Something's wrong with the whole thing. They're trying to claim he removed the barrel from the Mauser and fit the receiver and stock in his backpack and barrel in his pants leg all in 2 seconds. It is not easy to remove a Mauser barrel or index it after reinstalling and remain accurate. We are not hearing or seeing reality. And by the way, the photo of the rifle allegedly left in the woods has the barrel installed. So we're supposed to believe a guy is on the run after killing Charlie Kirk, and he pauses in the woods to reinstall a barrel, and then he leaves it for us to find, the FBI to find. I don't believe a word of it.
You want me to go heavy in on this suspect at this stage? I mean, they showed an image of somebody in a stairwell with glasses and a hat on, skinny white. You know, are you having the same feeling that something's off with this? Is this a patsy? Is this what? Michael Savage isn't believing it.
I shouldn't do this. I know I'm putting myself at risk, but I can't take it anymore. I can't take the bullshit from this fucking government. It's lying to us. Something's wrong. Something's so wrong. It's sickening. Look at this idiot. They found the rifle and they're getting the prints. Are you stupid? Are you that stupid? Are you that dumb? The man jumps off the roof. There's no rifle there. Oh, it's in his backpack. I just told you, moron, that this rifle doesn't break down that easily. And then it's supposed to be reassembled while he's on the run. Wait, I'll stop now and reassemble it and leave it in the woods in a box wrapped in a towel. He left breadcrumbs. Oh, and the trans stuff on the cartridges. Bullshit. Something is wrong with this whole fucking picture. I am persona non grata in this White House. I will tell you right now, I flew with Donald Trump in Air Force One. I consider him close to me. I have not been able to get near him since this administration took hold. They have thrown me out. They've castigated, thrown me in the desert.
Ah, okay. So he's on the outside looking in now.
They don't want me near them. They don't want real truth tellers near them. Sean Hannity immediately, that pimp scumbag, goes on the air and repeats the government lie, that lousy son of a bitch. How the fuck does Sean Hannity live with himself? Well, we just prove, and he had the, Sean, you know what? Kept animal. You're like a whore. Kept in a brothel. Sean Hannity, you've always been a whore in a brothel. You have hit a new low, Hannity, and something is wrong. Somebody killed this young guy, and everyone is asking who done it, and we're supposed to believe they think we're this stupid? So Kash Patel is there and he doesn't say a word, and Donald Trump's in the Yankee Stadium? What the hell is going on here? I'm just an American citizen who's been in the business of observing, since I'm 18 years old, and I don't buy one word of this narrative, not one single word. So I'm going to end in a moment.
So I'll leave you with that. A little bit of skepticism. So if I'm back on tomorrow, stay tuned. Check your notifications. Maybe I'll go live early. A lot depends. There's a couple of things in the works. So if I'm not here tomorrow, no worries. I'm telling you, there's a coin flip chance that I will be doing something else. But I mean, the news moves so fast. That was part of the reason that I had to change the Agree to Disagree show, how I was doing it with Blake. I think we were doing once a week, and then at some point we went from Tuesday, Thursday, so we were doing twice a week, and trying to really keep very small, like concise, short shows. But there's so much to talk about. There's so many thoughts to unpack, and I either plow through and cut the show time in half, or I engage with the audience, the regulars at the bar. Yeah, maybe I'm not the fastest bartender, just churning and burning the drinks. And actually, that is actually what Blake did. He was a well bartender, and everything that came in for the entire club, the machine spit it out. He put the thing down and he made all the things and kept them churning and burning. I was the other guy going around. I didn't work with Blake in a bar, but I would be the other one working around and working the crowd, working the regulars, trying to get the regulars to talk to each other so they feel comfortable in the bar and they want to stay a little long. Hey, let me get your next one. Hey, what'd you get over there? Oh, that food looks good. Hey, here's the menu, man. Go ahead and order something. Yeah, I know you're going to be hungry. You want something to soak up. Everybody has a different personality. Everybody has a different temperament. And, in many ways, all of that's fine. It's just preferential at a certain point. But I just remember how painful it would be, usually on Tuesdays. And I'm like, you do a show on Thursday, then it's like you don't get to talk about the rest of Thursday or Friday or Saturday or Sunday or Monday. You're going 5 days without a show. And I'm going, this doesn't work for me. Yeah, now there's a good question to talk to Michael Savage about. He's Jewish, isn't he? I've listened to Savage. I'm going to ask that question. Michael Savage, Jewish. He sounds Jewish. I think he's talked about being Jewish. Yes. Born to a Russian Jew immigrant parents in the Bronx in 1942. He's occasionally referenced his Jewish heritage on his radio show, though he's not particularly vocal about it, focusing more on his conservative political commentary. Okay. That's a good question, Danette. How did Benjamin Netanyahu, Bibi, how did he know before Trump? You look at the timestamps, at least that's the accusation. And I haven't verified the timestamps, but I've seen that reported from a few different places where Netanyahu posted the update that Charlie Kirk was gone faster than Trump did. And who knows, maybe Trump had a couple of things to go through, another phone call to make, talk to the family first before I don't know. It's not necessarily a smoking gun per se, but it's part of the question, right? It's part of the pile of questions we need to have answered, but it is a good question. So anyway, thank you all for being here. Yeah, we just worked our way through a trauma together, people. Allow yourself a little bit of grace. Get some sunlight, go for a walk, eat some good food. Shit food is quick, it's fast, it's easy, but it doesn't fuel us the same way. I'm feeling so much better in my skin and my body, just not perfect, but I'm feeling so much better. I'm feeling like kind of like me again. I've really been trying to dial back some stuff that, isn't so good for us. So remember to take care of yourself tonight and this week. And I'll be back talking to you later. Until the next time, signing out for everybody out there in the TNAM universe. I appreciate you. I love you. And we'll talk to you again soon. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. Peace.
your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.